पढ़ाई करी है. Partially answer is correct, but not completely. So I'll say which part of your answer is correct. Rate gyro is correct. Remember, students, I said one more. I called on one more name of the gyro. What was it?
Displacement gyro.
Some displacement gyro, yes. Rate gyro and displacement gyro. They are the two different type of gyros that we'll get. Now, what is displacement gyro, students? Displacement gyro is like it will be used in your DGI, we could say. Why DGI? Because DGI, directional gyro indicator, gives me my directions. Directions with respect to the magnetic directions without any errors that are generally observed in a conventional direct reading compass. Those errors are turning errors and acceleration errors. When I was talking about turning errors and acceleration errors, we just spoke that the reading, we spoke that the reading is not accurate. It means there is error in the reading. The error in the reading could be more than the desired reading, or it could be less than the desired reading. That is the only thing. Okay. So, direct reading compass and errors in direct reading compass, sometimes they come in CPL exams, sometimes they don't come in CPL exams. What definitely comes in CPL exams is all these concepts about gyros. Compass in itself is a very simple instrument. It has certain mechanism that we need to study to get done with the theory. Okay. Similarly, everything is simple. Displacement gyro will measure angular displacement. Now, what is this angular displacement? If you come back to the basic concepts of direction, you will realize that directions are angular measurements. And angular displacement means the same thing. From one reference north, what is the angular measurement or displacement that I'm getting? So if my gyro axis is fixed in one line, and then if my gyro axis is displaced from this one line to this side, so I can measure the angular displacement from the reference to the new position, and that could amount to my magnetic directions given by DGI. On the other hand, rate gyro measures the rate of change of angular something. At what rate is it changing? So where do we use rate gyro? We use rate gyro in turn coordinator, where we follow a standard rate turn. What is the standard rate turn? 3 degrees per second. It takes me 1 minute to complete a 180-degree turn. That is a U-turn, I would say, in a layman's term. And it takes me 2 minutes to complete a 360-degree turn. So rate gyro and displacement gyro, with respect to the pilot's perspective, is very important. Okay. See if you have any questions. We'll get started in a couple of minutes. Get it revised thoroughly. What are the two forces of gyro? Stability and precession. Right? So it's not stability, in fact, it's rigidity. Rigidity and precession. I'm going to give you a couple of points to get started with about rigidity and precession. You will have to make notes of it and quickly study it right and see if you have any doubts. Gyro otherwise could seem to be very complicated, but not for us. We're gonna approach it in a very strategic point of view. So that's our agenda. Today we're gonna learn about other two gyros and important points about the other two gyros. And then we would want to jump onto the data instruments. What enables or what gives me a gyro? What gives me a gyro? What makes a gyro? Any spinning rotor with a high enough RPM. Any spinning rotor with a high enough RPM, and if the rotor has majority of its mass concentrated towards its periphery, the circumference, the edges, then definitely I can say that I can obtain gyroscopic properties from that rotor. But how do I obtain gyroscopic properties from that rotor? I cannot just have a free spinning disk anywhere in space. So I need to suspend that rotor to get certain degrees of freedom. 1 degree freedom, 2 degree freedom is generally what we use in aviation. 1 degree freedom would be like, let's say if this is the gyro axis, then where is the rotor, do you think? The rotor could be rotating like this. So it will become a horizontal gyro because the axis is horizontal. So let's say the rotor is spinning about this axis. If it attains a high enough RPM, this axis will obtain rigidity. The disk will obtain rigidity. And this axis will continue to point in one fixed point or one fixed direction. The direction could be anywhere. It could be space also. That's rigidity. And this specific rigidity, this ability to point in one direction gives us gyroscopic properties. If we would not have had gyroscopic properties, we would not have been able to have two-wheelers, unicycles, bicycles, or we might not even have had Earth pointing in just one direction, Earth axis tilted towards the sun, 23.5 degrees, fixed point in space. There are two types of gyros, horizontal, vertical. There are two types of gyros, rate gyro, displacement gyro. That way, there are multiple varieties or types of gyros that you come across. Gyros comprise of 3 of the 6 basic instruments in the aircraft. For a pilot, for any aircraft, a minimum of 6 instruments are always required. 3 are air data, 3 could be gyro. An improvised version is a basic 4 instrument. In that, couple could be gyro, couple could be air data. So altimeter, airspeed indicator, artificial horizon, and directional gyro. These 4 could be primary then. Turn coordinator is very important. Without a balanced turn, you might skid, you might slip. So quickly revise what is skid and what is slip. See if you have any doubts. Other pictures I checked yesterday were correct, but other people, not everybody has sent that to me. You have not all drawn the left turn properly. I mean, not everybody has submitted, is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know what you're waiting for. You should try and submit. So I'm going to quickly give you a few pointers to write. Fast. Within 10 minutes, I'm expecting you all to write these pointers. Then we're going to talk about the other two gyros. Before that, I'm going to open with a few questions and some doubt resolutions with respect to what we had learned yesterday. And I might ask you all a couple of doubts, a couple of questions. So let's just get in the zone. If you remember, we had learnt about the plane of a gyrorotor with respect to, I think, artificial horizon, that is the attitude indicator, as well as the turn coordinator. So many important points were studied. What's the situation, students? Talk to me. Tell me what's happening. Students who could not attend the lecture yesterday, please give me an update if you have covered up the missing lecture. Yes or no? How about relative bearing? Try to recollect. No response. Nicole, nice to see you. Very good morning. Who else is there in class? Students, please make your presence known. I'm not sure if you can hear me well, if you're there, not there.
Present, sir. Victor Tango Alpha Sierra Hotel.
Ashwini, last week you have missed a lot of lectures, so I'm not sure. Last and last to last also. Last week, luckily, we didn't have any lectures. Last to last week also, you have missed a lot of lectures. I'm not sure what's happening.
I'll update, sir. Victor Tango Alpha Sierra Hotel.
Manan, you were not there yesterday. We did a lot of important stuff yesterday. I'm not sure what's happening. I didn't want you to miss what I did yesterday. What do I do? I'm not sure, you know. I don't know why you're doing this. At least tell me why you're doing this. I don't have the energy to say the same thing every day and beg that please do this, please do this, please do this. I'm sorry, but I don't know if I've wronged you in any way that I'm deserving this. I'm not sure. Let me know so that I can correct the wrongs. That's all I could say. If you don't let me know, then I don't know what else to do. It's becoming a habit and you're missing a lot of important points. And I don't want you to miss out on this session. I don't know why you're thinking it's your own responsibility to do it anymore. I don't know why you're thinking like that. What we are taking away from these sessions, in my opinion, is really worth a lot of gold, you know. That gold that will help you get a good score in your navigation exam. So I don't know why you are missing out on that. And I don't know what are you doing otherwise. Don't get me wrong, but Mithika, Manveer, Mithika, I see you are connected with two devices. I'm not sure which one you are at. Nandini, very good morning. Nice to see you. See, Nandini, if you have any doubts.
So can we ask doubts now?
I'm connected with both the audios. One is like my phone, my laptop doesn't have nice audio, so I'm connected with my phone for the audio.
Are you able to study this way?
Yes, sir.
Can you just text me on Zoom chat with both the accounts, your name?
Yes, sir. I'll text.
Okay. Doubts with respect to all that we had done yesterday. First, we have to revise, students, understand the first thing and clarify doubts and move ahead. So someone was asking, can we ask doubts? I'm like, yeah, of course. Why not?
So, so you just told about the displacement gyro. So can we say that attitude indicator has the displacement gyro?
Probably you're thinking in the right direction. Let's see.
Okay,
Very good.
thank
Very good. Yeah, probably. Yeah. Displacement gyro measures the difference in the angular displacement or angular changes. So angular changes generally are with respect to what? Y degree, 10 degree, 20 degree from the zero reference. It could be directions, it could be bank angle, it could be pitch angle. Correct. So that would be, and that could be displacement gyro. And something that measures your rate of change, like a turn coordinate, like 3 degrees per second, that becomes your rate gyro. So rate means rate of change of angular displacement. Displacement gyro is just the change of angular displacement, like that. So gyros are like quantified, like separately.
okay, sir. Got it.
Students, think about it. Anything else?
So I have one doubt.
Mhm.
Sir, in artificial horizon, uh, it said we use a vertical axis or gyros, right? I always get confused, like why are we using vertical axis, not horizontal?
कल बताया था हुसैन, अच्छे से बताया था कल. He also had asked me the same question, Manveer. वापस भूल गए आप. क्या करूं मैं बताओ? कल क्यों नहीं सुना आपने? Just asking it.
So I was just confused on the working of it, of how is it rigid and what moves the displacement.
हुसैन फिलहाल की पॉइंट्स को याद रखो. And consider this to be just your level 1. Just remember key points. Remember the first level points. कभी आपको टाइम मिले ना तो ऑनलाइन एनिमेशन चेक कर लो यार. अगर अगर हम क्लास में नहीं कर रहे हैं, अगर ऐसा बोल रहा हूँ मैं. You won't really understand everything without visually seeing it, to be honest. It's not your fault. What I said yesterday was that with respect to the application that I need to measure my pitch and bank, my vertical gyro will have a rotor in a plane that will be horizontal. That probably gives me a better functionality in terms of device mechanism to give that to me. Whatever readings I need, maybe a bank angle or maybe a pitch angle. So you have to try to stick with these points first and just say, okay, so I have to wait and see how these really work. And then probably I'll understand. Until the time you don't understand, it's futile to not accept these things. This is one thing that you have to fix in the meantime. Otherwise, everything that you'll be doing now could be wasted just because of that one thing that you have not yet figured out. Okay, so you have to understand there are certain mechanisms that are helping us do it. What is very important for me is the critical aspect of it, the first part of it. The first part of it is, okay, what is the plane of the rotor and how is the axis of the rotor? The axis is everything. The rotor axis is everything. The axis is vertical. If the axis is vertical, my rotor is like this. Don't you think I'll be getting my bank angle easily like this? Simple. Artificial horizon is giving me bank angle as well as pitch angle. Yesterday we spoke about it. Basic type of gyro will at least give me two displacements. Now we can use the word displacement. One will be bank, one will be pitch, but we won't get yaw. In order to get yaw, what do? We introduce a double suspension system. So what is the first suspension system? A gimbal system. So every rotor has to be into one gimbal so that it can stay rigid while the aircraft around it moves. So look at this hard. Look at my hand. So the gyro rotors are like this and the gimbals make it easy for the aircraft to move like this while the gyro is rigid like this. So let's say if this is the axis pointing towards you in the gyro, and this is the rotor, my hand. So the gimbal system, the suspension will allow it to be like this, even though the aircraft is going like this completely or going like this completely. So now if this is like this is the fixed symbol of the aircraft. Okay. The small aircraft on the artificial horizon, this zero, 0 degree displacement right now. Let's say I want to back 20 degrees to the right. So I'm banking 20 degrees to the right. So see, follow one axis, say center axis of me, and follow this. Right now, we both are in 0 displacement. Right now, if I go 20 degrees to the right, I'll get 20 degrees right angle. Easy. I'll get 20-degree left angle. But then this is the horizontal gyro over here. So this horizontal gyro might not give me a perfect reading with respect to that. So I take a vertical gyro and I take it like this. So this becomes my vertical gyro. Now, if I go like this, it becomes easy to measure the angle of bank on the left and on the right. Plus, the second thing that I can obtain is this, the gyro bending like that and the gyro bending like this. That will give me my pitch up or maybe pitch down. This is how the functioning is happening. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
Forget about everything else. Just focus on this rotor and the axis. Everything else is just enabling it to do that. That is too much in depth, which you would understand slow and steady if you want to go there. But these points will cover up everything that you need to know for your basic understanding to be able to clear your CPL exams. When you do ATPL, probably you'll get more time, or maybe anytime when you're free, you could just get into the mechanism and check videos. I cannot show you all videos here. I can try. Okay, I think we have a lot of free videos where you can actually see. Okay, so this is how a gyro works. So understand why, because this is it. Displacement gyro is just like this, students. Nothing else. This will be fixed. In order to have this fixed, I need a suspension system known as a gimbal system. One gimbal will give me 2 displacements. Not enough for me. The 2 displacement do not mean 2 degrees of freedom. Okay. The degrees of freedom sometimes confuses students. EASA conventions say that one gyro axis we don't consider as a degree of freedom. So we'll say only 1 degree of freedom available here, while the other one, which will have 2 gimbals, so that I also get my yaw. So if this is it, how do I get my yaw? My aircraft will go like this. This is yaw. But the gyro is straight now. The gyro is not moving in. So this is yaw now. I'll get yaw when I use another suspension system outside the first suspension system. The first gimbal, second gimbal. So generally, any instrument that has any gyro instrument that has 2 gimbals, that will give me 2 degrees of freedom, but it can give me measurements in all 3 planes: longitudinal, lateral, and then vertical. Vertical could be yawing, lateral could be bank, longitudinal could be the pitch, or lateral could be the pitch and longitudinal could be the bank. That could be the only 2 differences. Try to have clarity about this much at least. Still, if you'll say, no, sir, but I'm looking for what I want, then get it done. Now find it out. See an animation, you'll understand how it works. But at least until then, don't challenge. Otherwise, you'll miss it. And जब कल बता रहे हैं तो फिर आप कल क्यों नहीं समझ आए वो बताओ मुझे, ताकि मैं आपको आज अच्छे से और समझा सकूं. That's my point. And what is happening with other students? Come on, quickly. Quick. कुछ समझ आया हुसैन?
Yes, I understood.
नहीं समझ आया ना?
Yes,
Hussain
I
likes to stick with doubts until he gets what his mind is asking.
Yes,
It's
every
good.
time this gyro topic only bugs me
See,
whenever I study.
बट तो मैं जैसे बता रहा हूँ वैसे उस पे फोकस करो ना. तुम क्या सीधा डाउट पे फोकस करने लग जाते हो, तो फिर वो जो मैं बता रहा हूँ वो भी तुम्हारे दिमाग में नहीं घुसता. वो उस पे काम करना चाहिए ना. हमेशा बोलता हूँ मैं आपको, इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट यू एक्सेप्ट व्हाट आई एम टीचिंग यू. इट्स नॉट योर फॉल्ट. जो आपको पहले जहां भी जो भी आपने पढ़ा है सही गलत, उसकी वजह से ये सब हो रहा है. बट फॉरगेट इट ना, इट्स इन द पास्ट. स्टार्ट एवरीथिंग एज इफ यू स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम जीरो. कितने बार बोला आपको मैंने? आई एम नॉट गोना डिफरेंशिएट यू ना. भले ही आप सोचते हो कि अरे सर मैं आपके पास तो सिर्फ रिवीजन कर रहा हूँ, मैंने कहाँ बोला आपको रिवीजन करा रहा हूँ मैं तो आपको पूरा करा रहा हूँ, तो आप पूरा मेरे साथ करो ना, सब भूल जाओ, सोचो कि मैंने कुछ नहीं पढ़ा है जायरो वायरो. Think about it as you have entered a new relationship with someone, a new friend, watching a new movie, driving a new car. Forget the past. Simple. क्यों बाकियों को नहीं आ रहा ना डाउट? They're starting from scratch probably. Or maybe they are resolving their doubts और automatic हो जाता है शायद. ठीक है, इस पे स्ट्रगल मत करो, बट मुझे बताते रहो, बट मूव ऑन. डोंट स्टिक विद समथिंग फॉर अ लॉन्ग टाइम एंड स्पेसिफिक पॉइंट्स बताते रहो, सब अपन डील कर लेंगे. ओके स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट एल्स टेल मी. और क्या है
Uh,
तुम्हारे दिमाग में?
Sir, there yesterday you gave a rule of aerodynamic, and that was yaw causes roll and roll causes yaw. Yeah, and so that is does this mean that if we yaw our aircraft, then it will roll, or if we roll our aircraft, then it will yaw, or it is like that, means if we yaw our aircraft, then we have to roll. Means what's the sense of this rule?
उसका सेंस यही है जो वहां पे बता रहे हैं. द सेंस इज द सेम. when you yaw an aircraft, the aircraft tends to roll also a little bit. When you
Okay.
roll an aircraft, the aircraft tends to yaw. But the yaw looks like a turn when we roll the aircraft. So what we do is, when we are teaching you to fly or when we are learning to fly, we tell you that when you're learning to make a turn, apply both controls. The roll
Mhm.
control also and yaw control also, to get the maximum. If you don't do that, if you just roll, then your aircraft will yaw and it might slip or skid. And when you just yaw, the aircraft might roll also. So that is not good for us. So in order to counteract each other's effect, we have to balance it out together. That is the actual meaning of it. The second is, rudder is only limited to be used up to probably 0 to 7 or 0 to 8 degrees only. If you try to use rudder more than that, like if the rudder is like, if this is the vertical stabilizer and if this is the rudder, okay, I'm just showing you a bigger rudder like this. This is
Yeah.
90-degree deflection. This is 90-degree reflection. The rudder is only supposed to be 8 degrees, not more, only 8 degrees. That much is not enough to give me a very good turn on a yaw. If I increase this, my aircraft tail cone is going to break. So it's not safe. So I'm not gonna take I'm not gonna get a turn, or I will not take a turn in any other way possible. But if I do this, my aircraft is going to yaw also. So in order to balance out the extra yaw, I need to be applying certain yaw controls also.
Oh, so if we are operating our aircraft in between the velocity that is never to exceed, so then also we have to keep this thing in mind that we should use our rudder up till 8 degrees, not means approximately till, not the we can't deflect it full till 90 if we are in a limited.
Manu, every aircraft will have a limitation, which no matter what your speed is, you will not exceed that. Rudders generally, no matter what speed, will not be moved beyond that limit.
Okay.
It is not healthy. It is not healthy for the aircraft. It's not depending upon the speed. It is just the way it is designed. And students, yaw
Got
is
it, sir.
yaw is very bad. Okay, yaw is bad because when you yaw the aircraft, like this, the moment you remove the yaw controls, the aircraft becomes back like this. Again, when you yaw the aircraft, like here, if you yaw the aircraft, the moment you remove the controls, it goes again here. When you remove the control, it goes again here. So yaw cannot be used for turns. Yaw in itself cannot be used for turns in air. Yaw is only used for turns on ground, along with the nose wheel steering. Yaw is nothing. Yaw is there just for certain adjustments, I would say. Certain I would say adjustments only, fine tuning. If you want to turn, this is your go-to turn. And when you roll, your aircraft automatically yours is what they are saying. So that's how we get the turn. बस हो गया, ये डायनेमिक्स का क्लास नहीं है, फुर्सत रखो, आपको मिल जाएगा सब कुछ टाइम आने पे. Talk about gyro and talk about this also. What do we say? Talk about gyros and talk about this also. Relative bearing and all. Quickly. मनन, मैं क्या पूछ रहा हूँ, कल जिसने लेक्चर 10 नहीं किया जूम पे लाइव, प्लीज अपडेट दो मुझे. आप क्यों नहीं जवाब दे रहे हो भाई साहब? मैं कल इंपॉर्टेंट चीज पढ़ाया ना, इसलिए पूछ रहा हूँ बस. तुमने देखा नहीं देखा उस हिसाब से मैं आपको अच्छे से कराऊंगा ना. बाद में कराऊं कब कराऊं सोचना पड़ेगा. Okay. So write down the first property of gyro. We're going to quickly write a few points. Students, I want you all to be very fast. And if you have any doubts, then you'll talk to me about it. The reason I explained roll causes your causes roll was because you have to understand when you're taking a right turn, when you're getting the slip or a skid, there was a term used. Applying right rudder, inadequate, you will get a slip. And applying right rudder extra, you will get a skid on a right turn. So you should be knowing that why am I applying rudder on a right turn when my turn is obtained through roll. Okay. So you have to know that rudder and bank together are utilized to give you a balanced or a coordinated turn. So in case you are slipping, anyone can ask this to you. What will you do if you have a slipping turn? You'll say, I'll increase the amount of the rudder applied. Which rudder? You'll say, depends upon the turn. If I'm taking a right turn, I'll apply a little more right rudder. If I'm taking a left turn, I'll apply a little more left rudder. Okay, good. Pass. That's it. Even without being in the sky, you know this information, which other students will not know who are there with you for CPL. Understand. And these are the types of exams you'll get in the questions that you'll get in the examination. Nanan, very good. Manan, very good. You have covered it. Update कब दोगे यार? Daily updates की बात हुई है ना? Suchita and Mithika give me updates. Nobody else gives me updates. मितिका का भी एक दो दिन से नहीं आ रहा है अपडेट. संडे था, कोई बात नहीं, मंडे है, कल तो पूरे दिन पढ़ रहे हैं. कल कोई आया नहीं मितिका अपडेट, पर ठीक है, एक आध दिन चलता है. काम मिला है आपको, मैंने कम से कम बता दो ना, कर रहे हो. हाँ, बोल रहा हूँ ना, मेरे को पर्सनल देना है आपको, आप फिर क्यों ऐसा कर रहे हो? सो दैट्स इट. गुड. इफ यू हैव वॉच्ड इट, सी इफ यू हैव एनी डाउट्स. आई एम वेरी हैप्पी. थैंक यू. मेरा एक टेंशन खत्म हो गया. हुसैन, क्या चल रहा है दिमाग में?
All good, sir. Now.
मानवी, तुम्हारे दिमाग में क्या चल रहा है?
Nothing, sir. It's going good.
नथिंग. हाँ, मेडिटेशन
No.
कर रहे हो क्या?
नहीं sir.
Jyotsna, how's everything at your end?
Good, sir.
हो रही है पढ़ाई नेविगेशन की?
Often, sir. But little, not very much.
लेक्चर में हो रही है पढ़ाई?
Often, sir.
मिथिका, व्हाट्स हैपनिंग एट योर एंड?
हो रही है सर पढ़ाई.
क्या हो रही है?
हो रही है पढ़ाई.
पढ़ाई हो रही है. आई थॉट यू सेड हो रही है थोड़ी. लाइक ओके.
नहीं sir.
So this slip is also called a side slip, huh? By the way, side slip. So this very nice dynamics book. I was just checking this roll and yaw diagram. If I could find, I could have showed it to you all. Aerodynamics is also my favorite subject. Basically, aerodynamics is how the plane flies in the air, right? But it's nothing without the engine. So engine also is a favorite subject then. It's like that. And then of course you need air conditioning, right? The systems. Okay, never mind. So let's just get done with this gyro thing. Okay. Rigidity and precision, do not be bothered or do not be bored by it. It's a simple thing and it's a very important thing. And I think a couple of questions will be asked based upon these points. Okay, we'll come back to aerodynamics later. Right on. What is a gyroscope? Right on the first point, any rapidly spinning symmetrical rotor possesses gyroscopic properties. I say again, any rapidly spinning symmetrical rotor has gyroscopic properties. Second point, aircraft gyro rotors are spinning discs. Aircraft gyro rotors are spinning discs between 2 to 5 centimeter in diameter. So see, they are very small discs. Aircraft gyro rotor discs are 2 to 5 centimeter in diameter, and the RPM can range from 4,000 revolutions per minute to 55,000 RPM. See the range. Just imagine the speed at which the rotor is moving to give us these gyroscopic properties, which is rigidity. Okay. Examples: Earth. Write down. Earth acts as a gyro. Spinning tops act as a gyro. And bicycle wheels, they are also gyros. The gyro, right on the next point, the gyro rotor spin axis can be vertical or horizontal. This becomes vertical and this becomes horizontal. Okay. So the gyro spin axis can be vertical or horizontal, and this axis determines gyro orientation. All right. Vertical axis gyro is called vertical gyro. Okay. And horizontal axis gyro is called horizontal gyro. Today you have to master this gyro, okay? For good. Study along with me, okay? Okay. The axis of gyro, write these points, because these points, if I don't give you in writing, then in the exams, you might not be sure, sir, if I should mark this as a correct answer or not. Sometimes you will be given a couple of statements and the question could be like, mark the correct statement. So this point is also very important. The axis of gyro can also be termed as the shaft about which the rotor spins. Now, what is the shaft? So any moving thing will have some mechanism, some mechanical structure going through the center of it. Like in a wheel, we call it an axle, right? So we call it a shaft. Nothing. It's a big tube, a tubular structure about which the rotor is moving. So this is a shaft. The shaft in itself is the axis or the rotor axis. One and the same thing. So the axis definitely is imaginary. So what is not imaginary is the shaft. The axis can also be termed as the shaft about which the gyro rotor spins. The shaft. Shaft and axis are the same. Can be said. Okay. Applications of gyro in aircraft. Very simple. Very simple thing. Gyro applications. Number one, attitude. That is straight and level flight. Attitude instruments. And the second application is direction instruments. That's it. In attitude, what do I get? I get turn coordinators or turn and bank indicators, as well as artificial horizon or attitude indicator. And the second is direction instrument. Gyro has two properties. Students who have done this in past, today you should finalize it forever in your mind, okay? Number one, rigidity. This is where it gets deeper now. The meaning of the rigidity, the formula of rigidity, and the elements of rigidity. This is where I have to do this. And do not rush it. If it takes a little more time, just take that time, okay? And second thing is precession. Even when I was in your place, even I never understood precession much. But then I realized that it's nothing big, you know. It's just that I've not seen it visually. Is the only blank in my mind. That's it. So what I'll do is I'll pause the recording, and I think somebody had showed me, sir, there's some animation issued by Oxford only, I guess, which we could actually, you know, see in class. Let's see if we could do that. I'll try to show that to you all. Remind me, okay? On chat, remind me on chat if I forget. Now, we need to know about rigidity and precession. All right. So, what is rigidity? And what is precession? Who can define rigidity? Manan, try Guru, if you can. Rigidity.
Rigidity can be defined as gyro staying in a fixed present orientation. Like keep the axis rotation fixed in one direction only. That can be rigidity.
But आंसर कंप्लीट नहीं है मनन. सिंपल सी चीज ऐड करनी है. As long as no external force affects the
Yes.
rotating the rotor. वो बहुत
Yeah.
जरूरी है. ध्यान से मनन. एग्जाम है हमारी कुछ दिनों में. परसों भी हो सकती है, तरसों भी हो सकती है. पता है ना कैसा है? Good, good, not bad. Good. याद रखना. Everyone write down. Rigidity talks about gyro rotor staying rigid, that is fixed. Rigidity talks about gyro rotor staying rigid, that is fixed in its present rotating orientation. Now add this point also, Manan. That answer is a basic answer which other people might not accept completely. 3 points need to go along with rigidity, students. One that Manan said, second that I added, and the third point that I've said yesterday a million times, not billion, of course, few times, and now also. Comma, rigid that is fixed in its present orientation, pointing its spin axis in a fixed direction on Earth or in space. Finish the inverted comma, and then you can add the last point, as long as no external force affects the rotor. As long as no external force affects the rotor. Read it 3 times. See if you have understood it, everyone. Chaitanya, Manvir, all focus on the topic being taught as well. A basic gyro is also taught to you in your PPL. So this is basic only. CPL, PPL, there's no much difference actually. In the common topics that we study, there's no much difference. Extra topics we don't teach in PPL. It's like that. I'm just telling you from that perspective also, along with CPL.
Sure, sir.
Suchita, Jyotsna, Ashwini. Jyotsna, while you are here, all focus here. Don't worry. Study. Ashwini, oh, I hope you're doing it well. Hussain, Nukul, I hope you're able to follow. Nukul, stay comfortable, okay? Hussain, I hope you're following.
Yes, I'm following.
Read it 3 times. What maintains rigidity? If somebody tells you, how do I maintain rigidity? What would you say? Suchita, Mithika, Hussain, Manan, think about it. Anyone of y'all, tell me.
RPM.
Rotation.
Yes, RPM. Very good. Very,
With high-
very good.
With high rotor mass at the peripheral of the rotor.
Yes, very good. So this rotor mass that we say, generally the mass is inclusive, but the term that we will use would not be mass, but inertia. along with the RPM. So write this point. This is a key word that you have to remember, okay? Rigidity is maintained by the inertia of the mass of the spinning rotor. Rigidity is maintained by the inertia of mass inverted comma of rotor. Okay, this is one main thing along with the RPM. Both are important. But generally, this is the specific term that goes with maintenance of rigidity. Write down next point. Rigidity is also called as gyroscopic inertia. A very important point. Rigidity is also called as gyroscopic inertia. Rigidity is called as Can anyone tell me what is inertia? Rigidity is called as gyroscopic inertia. Anyone?
Yeah. When a body tends to, when a body is in motion, it tends to stay in that particular, means in that particular, what we say.
So Newton, the
Yeah.
scientist, he came across Nukul.
It won't, it
So
won't
it's
change
how
its
big,
particular.
so it's how big is rotor or radius of the rotor.
No, no. So what is inertia?
Sir, an inability to move
Means
or change, like a lack of energy, you can say. Victor Temple का सर होते हैं.
Oh yeah. A simple statement, I think, if I can recollect, is it's one of the three laws of force, Newton, like gravity and the other two, where one of the laws says that an object would remain in a state of motion unless it is opposed by an opposing force. So maintaining your constant orientation unless you have been obstructed by a external force is inertia. Similarly, this thing also has an inertia right now, because inertia is not only about a moving object, but inertia is also about an object that is at rest. So inertia says an object in motion or at rest tends to stay in motion or at rest unless being you know affected by some external force. So obviously, right, I don't have anything soft to drop. So yeah, let's see if this is it. So it is at rest, it has inertia. I want to break its inertia, I will just do this, it's gone. So until and unless I don't give this force here, it will tend to remain in its position. That's inertia. That is rigidity. If you give your rotor enough RPM and you design it in such a way that the mass, the inertia of the mass, so the inertia is that only, the mass, we need that rotor to be a heavy rotor so that once it attains that RPM, it tends to stay in that rotational thing on its own, students. Afterwards, it will be on its own due to inertia unless I put some external force on it. That's inertia. So if you are into science, if you are into Einstein, then you have this this theory of relativity somewhere deals with this only. What will happen if you cross the when you travel at a speed higher than the speed of light? Is it possible? Is it not possible? For me, it took a long time, not long time, but I couldn't find the good material to understand theory of relativity, to be honest. But then one day I saw someone speak about it and I'm like, oh, so this is it. E is equal to mc square, you know. Anyway, let's come back to this. Remember gyroscopic inertia. Quickly write this down. It should not be stretched. Last point you will write, not last point, next point you will write. Rigidity depends upon two properties. It is directly proportional to I and R. If anyone tells you what defines or what controls the rigidity of a gyro, you will say there are two properties. One is the inertia and the second is the RPM. Okay. So I is equal to moment of moment, moment of inertia. Movement gives you a combined effect of the force. Okay. Movement. Like when you do balance arm, weight and balance, there also you'll see movement. Okay. And R is equal to RPM of rotor. Okay. Now let's talk about moment of inertia. What is moment of inertia? Questions come from here, okay? This is the in-depth thing. Once we cover this, after that we'll cover the important points about the two other gyros and we are done. Then you can just go through the text once and maybe we can do a short session on the types of errors in gyro. That's it. Wonder. And you're done with it. From exam perspective, of course. Otherwise, there'll be a lot to study about gyro, of course. What is moment of inertia? Here, Nukul's suggestion comes into picture. What is the size of the rotor? The diameter can also matter. Okay. So write down the point about moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is the measure of, remember, okay, MCQs could be very confusing, students. I'm giving you exactly what they're asking in exams with the logical explanation. Moment of inertia is the measure of how big and how heavy the gyro is. Measure of how big. With big, you can talk about size, radius, diameter. And how heavy. That is mass. Now we already know 2 to 5 centimeter. How much is 2 to 5 centimeter? This is it. 5 centimeter. This much. This much, students. This much. This much. This finger to this finger. 2 centimeter is much more smaller, students. 5 centimeter is this much only. So, any confusion so far? Write down. Gyros with greater radius. It means greater diameter also. I will get greater moment of inertia. And greater moment of inertia is directly proportional to rigidity, that is big R. Here, R is equal to, big R is equal to rigidity, okay? Don't forget. So, bigger diameter, bigger moment of inertia, greater moment of inertia is greater rigidity. I hope you're making a mental flowchart of this and don't forget it ever, okay? Study it right now, students. I'm giving you time to study. And similarly, gyros with greater mass. What happens to gyros with greater mass? They will also have greater moment of inertia and they will have more rigidity. We need rigidity, students. Now, what happens in an aircraft? Before I tell you what happens in an aircraft, take a couple of minutes and study the formula for rigidity. Formula for rigidity is subtly given to you. Don't take it for granted. IR, moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is depending upon the diameter and the mass of the rotor. More the dia, more the mass, more the rigidity. And R is RPM. Higher the RPM, higher the rigidity. So rigidity is taken care of. It's that simple, students. One more element needs to be added. Before that, make sure you know the formula for rigidity and see if you have any question. Quick. I was actually looking for demonstration uh, to be able to demonstrate those gyro equipments, but I could not find, anything. Generally, otherwise, we never ran short of gyros because we used to travel to different colleges and hangars here and there, wherever they have spare and all scrap data material available. We can always pick that and show that and use that. Right now, not getting a hand on it. But it's okay. I'll show you. I'll either send you links to watch couple of animations. See if you have any doubts about rigidity, a very important point. Yeah, gyroscopic inertia is not in itself enough right now. The reason is that it's good to have a heavy mass for a rotor. But when I'm designing an aircraft, students, I cannot really use heavy objects because weight has to be kept to minimum. This is the reason why on the periphery of my rotor, I increase the mass, but not in the center. So the overall weight is reduced, but because the rotor is rotating, the centrifugal force actually acts on the periphery only. So that way, this design helps me. So you will see mostly your wheels, your tires of your two-wheelers and four-wheelers have small wires. We call it spokes in the center. Why? Because it's to reduce the weight in the center near the shaft and maximize the weight on the periphery to increase the effective mass, we call it, so that we increase the rigidity. So if you want to have a bicycle where you pedal very less and still stand tall, vertical, then you use a big wheel bicycle. In olden days, when bicycles were invented, people used to have a bicycle like this. Do you know this? Have you seen such bicycles? I don't even know where the person was sitting and how he or she was sitting. It was like this. And the person was sitting here, like this. Of course, he didn't have so tall legs. Why? Because he was getting good gyroscopic inertia. So with small pedals also, he was able to go, wow, this is good, good. I've discovered something great. Wright brothers had a bicycle workshop only, students. Wright brothers had a bicycle workshop. They used to make and sell bicycles. And then they created the airplane. How cool is that? Then people realized better ways, So if you want to learn to try to ride a unicycle, that one tire cycle, think about rigidity and how you can increase the rigidity of your wheel and you can easily balance yourself. You don't need to be an acrobatic. Aerobatic, yeah. Okay, so write down the next point. Because the weight of any aircraft equipment has to be kept as low as possible. This is a very important point, has to be written down. Because the weight of any aircraft equipment has to be kept as low as possible. The mass of the gyro needs to be reduced without reducing the rigidity. It's an easy point in the exams. Do not be confused if the language of questions is difficult. Huh? The mass of the gyro needs to be reduced without reducing the rigidity. This is achieved by concentrating majority of the mass of the rotor at its rim. See, students, I can easily explain this to you without giving you notes, but chances are you might forget it. So I'm giving you a note so that you don't forget it. Don't take it for granted, okay? So this is the rim. The periphery is the rim. How do I ensure the rotor mass is kept as minimum as possible without affecting the rigidity? I concentrate all the mass at the rim of the rotor. What do? I concentrate all the mass at the rim of the rotor. Rim. Rim, that is edge. Got it? Easy to understand? Talk about RPM. Important factor in rigidity. RPM measured per minute. RPM is measured when the rotor is rotating about the shaft or the spin axis, right? If the RPM of the rotor is high, I get higher rigidity. So simply write it down. The rotation of the rotor about its axis measured per minute is the RPM of the rotor. The rotation of the gyro rotor about its shaft or axis. One and the same thing for us. Measured per minute is called the RPM of rotor. Higher the RPM, greater the gyro rigidity. Are we getting it? Okay. Good. So when I say are we getting it, when you don't say no, it means you are getting it. I hope the expectations are simple. We both are satisfied. You don't have to talk again and again. Any doubts? Master rigidity, okay? So the final thing. In the exams, you might get this as a question, if nothing else. Write on the question. Rigidity of gyroscope increases with rigidity of gyroscope increases with point one, increased effective radius at which mass operates. Students, look at the language you will be getting. The way you are learning and the way the language is asked, it's one and the same thing. So the key The strategy is to focus on the keywords. The key is to focus on the keywords. Do not get confused. Every mark is important. Ask those students who get 69, 68, 67. Number 2, with increased rotor mass. Number 3, with increased rotor RPM. Okay, that's it. You can say increased gyroscopic inertia. Yes. What does the inertia depend upon? The inertia depend upon the size and the mass. So these two, the first 2 points are nothing but your I, gyroscopic inertia. And the second point is nothing but your R. So the formula doesn't change. The factors will not change. The language of the questions could change. So be very careful, okay? Have you understood it, students? Therefore, rigidity is equal to IR. You know what is RII? Or what is RIR? You know what is I? You know what is I, students? I is rotor mass and rotor diameter or effective radius. One and the same. What is R? RPM. What is R? Big rigidity. So inertia or gyroscopic inertia, moment of inertia, keywords. Take a few minutes, settle down, relax, go through the topic up to now. We have to do precession. Precession is something that can confuse you all. So I'm going to do it sometime later. I think time for a break also. We'll take a break at 11. The moment it's 11, you can go for a break, 15-minute break, or how much do you want? Let me know in chat, WhatsApp chat. Not WhatsApp chat, sorry, Zoom chat. Precession, 1 point you can add right now so that you have some idea about precession. Precession can be said as opposite of rigidity in a way. Okay. Right. The second point, gyro with high rigidity has low precession. Gyro with high rigidity has low precession. That's how I'm saying it's opposite. Gyro with high rigidity has low precession. Precession, you can say capital P, okay? Just like rigidity is capital R. Write everything point wise, okay? And next point you can write, if gyro precesses, that is has the precession. If the gyro precesses a lot, it means it has low rigidity. So now you know precession. It's just like stability and straight and level flight. Opposite to each other. So if there is more precession, less rigidity. If there is more rigidity, less precession. Okay? Right, one more point. How does precession happens? Precession occurs, you can write P, capital P, okay? Precession occurs when a force called torque is applied to the gyro spin axis. Read this point 3 times. Precession occurs when a force called torque is applied to the gyro spin axis. Read it thrice. Precession occurs when a force called torque is applied to the gyro spin axis. Precession occurs when a force called torque is applied to the gyro spin axis. The force is applied to the gyro spin axis, students. Not to the gyro, not to the rotor. Hussain, are you battling a lot of old, what should I call them? Old concepts, nothing else. I won't call them enemies. So precession occurs when a force called torque is applied to the gyro spin axis. It's spin axis that is affected. So if it's a vertical gyro like this, how is that showing a vertical gyro? Like this, like this. How is it? Yeah, like this. Yeah, like this. If this is the gyro spin, this much, my palm, this is spin axis. Then precession will happen when torque will be applied to the spin axis. Okay, to the spin axis. If this is horizontal gyro like this, then precession will happen when torque is applied to the spin axis like this. Okay. Right, the next point. This torque will disturb the rigidity This torque disturbs the rigidity and changes the direction and changes the direction from the original direction by a shift in the axis of the rotor from its original rigid position, which happens by a shift in the axis of the rotor from its original position or from its original rigid position. So the axis is being deflected or displaced, I could say. So if this is the axis, just imagine there is a rotor which is invisible on this. So if I'm deflecting this, then the spin axis is deflecting from its original, and along with that, the rotor, its plane and everything will also deviate with respect to the deflection given to the axis. Write down the next point, a very important point, quickly, and then we are breaking. We are breaking for a break. Precession will always act. This is the key point that will always ask to you. That will be always asked to you. Precession will always act Precession will always act in bracket. Now you will write to cause the deflection and close the bracket. Precession will always act, open a bracket, to cause the deflection, close the bracket. (90 degrees) In bracket, you will write in direction of rotor rotation, bracket close. You'll write 90 degrees and then again you'll start a bracket. In direction of rotor rotation, bracket close. After the torque is applied on the spin axis. Precession acts 90 degrees after the torque is applied without the brackets. Precession acts 90 degrees in the direction of rotation after the torque is applied to the spin axis. This is a key point. We'll discuss this point when we come out after the break, and then we'll do the other two gyro instruments, key points like we did yesterday. And I'm hoping to do a couple of numericals also. And then let's see how we go ahead after that. All right. So any questions? Please do not be late coming back from the break. And because it's a lengthy session, so I'm giving you a good enough break in between, okay? We'll come back at 11:30, everyone. Relax, enjoy, refresh, and do not panic in your mind. Welcome back, everyone. Are we back? Are we back?
Sir.
Okay. Any doubts so far? Any doubts? So, understand the very important point that you will see about precession. The very important point that you're going to see about precession would be this point. It acts at after the 90 degrees in the direction of rotation, after the torque is applied to the spin axis. 90 degrees ahead. So I always used to think, how does it actually take place? Okay. For this, you have to understand, you have to look at it from a physical perspective, how it actually works. Now understand the rigidity, anything that we need to do with rigidity is with respect to the axis holding its orientation fixed point in space, the rotor holding its orientation the way it is, rigidity. When I apply torque to the axis, the torque could be like this, like this, like this, or like this. I get only 4 options, or maybe I could do it diagonally also, anywhere. So let's assume this pivot point here is where the rotor is. Okay. So if I apply torque like this, what is happening? My axis is tilting down. Along with the axis, of course, my rotor is also going to tilt down. So generally, this is what I see. But with my moving rotor, this is not exactly how it works. It changes 90 degree in the direction of rotation. So if my rotor is rotating towards you in the screen, and if I apply torque like this, what is happening to the rotor disc and how am I getting this deflection? This deflection generally will give me displacement with respect to displacement gyros. And probably I can get the rate gyro thing also if I use the mechanism probably to measure the rate of measurement of angular displacement. Okay. So having said that, I'll just try to show you it in a simple way. Before that, just write down the formula for precession. So continue where you had put the point about precession and write down P. So write down precession formula. P is equal to P is directly proportional to T. Okay, you cannot see the screen. I'll share it again. P is directly proportional to T and inversely proportional to R, that is rigidity. What is T? T is torque. And what is R? R is rigidity. What is rigidity? Rigidity is capital I into small r. So it all comes down to the simple explanation like this, where P is equal to precession, T is equal to the force, that is torque, R is equal to rigidity. So I can also say that precession is directly proportional to torque and inversely proportional to IR. It stands true, where I is moment of inertia, R is RPM of the rotor. Now, this moment of inertia can also be said as mass of the rotor, effective radius of the rotor. So a permutation combination of anything could be asked to you in your examination competitive questions, competitive exams and the questions. Be very aware, be very smart. Students, I don't know if Hussain, Mithika, Jyotsna, Manvir, Ashwani, I guess is here. Manan, Chaitanya, and Ata, this guy, ATU is here or not. Students, let me know. Mithika, are you there? I'm not sure. I think Mithika is not.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm there.
Oh, okay, good, good.
Here.
Good. And Manan, yeah, good.
Sir,
Very
I'm here.
I as in Manvir, yeah.
Chetan.
Chetan. Okay, good. So write down, therefore, the rate of precession. At what rate am I is my rigidity being impacted, I could say? Or at what rate does the precession occur? Right now, the rate of precession is directly proportional, right on in the statement. The rate of precession is directly proportional. The rate of precession is directly proportional to the applied torque. The rate of precession is directly proportional to the applied torque, and inversely proportional to the moment of inertia and the rotor RPM rate. Do not get confused with the words rate here and there. And inversely proportional to the moment of inertia of rotor RPM rate. Now, quickly look at rigidity, quickly look at precession, and tell me if you've got it 100% or not. Quick. Have you understood this much? Do you have any doubts? Don't feel shy in discussing doubts, thinking about how my replies are, okay? You'll be like, sir, aap direct answer to de nahi rahe ho. Don't be like that. Keep discussing your doubts. If I feel that should be given to you in detail right now, then definitely I'll give that to you right now in detail. Otherwise, I'll tell you the plan about it, but I'll still give you something. Quickly study this and get done with this.
So,
Yeah, please go ahead.
can you tell something more about moment of inertia? Means some
क्या
practical
something
way,
more मतलब क्या?
means some practical way that will make it clear about.
See, try to pick up the points from what I've given you. It depends upon the mass. It depends upon the RPM in the case of gyro. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about gyro. Let's think about a car. Okay. Let's think about
Okay.
a car in which we have like let's say the car is full with 5 passengers. It's a 5-seater car. And the car is traveling at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. All of a sudden, you see some obstruction ahead. You press the brake. Suddenly, at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour with a full car, what's going to happen? The car's not going to stop. The car's going to skid off. It's because of the inertia that the car is not stopping. What is causing that inertia in that case? The mass as well as the velocity.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
At the same time, take the same car, take the same mass, but reduce the speed from 120 kilometers to 12 kilometers per hour. Now you get an obstruction, press the brakes, it will halt easily.
Yeah.
Because the inertia is less. Why? Because the velocity is less in that case, not the mass. So the mass is constant, but the velocity is the varying factor in that case, which is impacting the amount of inertia. If my inertia is high, then I'll need more length for the car to stop. If my inertia is low, then I'll need lesser length, lesser force to stop the aircraft. Similarly, mass and velocity, if they are the result of inertia in a vehicle that is moving straight, in a gyro, the only velocity we have is nothing but RPM. More the
Yes.
RPM, more the inertia. More the mass, more the inertia. So when you're talking about inertia, you need some movement at some speed and you need some mass. More that speed, more the mass, more the inertia. More the inertia, difficult it is to stop that thing. That's why we get more rigidity with more inertia so that we don't stop the rigidity, which is precession. We need rigidity. I hope this explains you in your layman language.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. ताली वाली बजा दो मेरे लिए फिर.
Yes, sir.
Awesome नहीं बोले समझ आएगा कि नहीं?
Yes, sir. समझ आया.
Awesome तो हम सब है ना. If we all are sitting together doing the same thing, it means we all are awesome. I think if you have to categorize, how many are we? We are 11 you and 12 me. So I think I could be number 13 in the list of awesome out of 12 of us. Yeah. Any doubts, students? That is inertia. Inertia is everywhere. Most of your aerodynamics, most of the physics in your aerodynamics is universal, followed everywhere. When we learn centripetal force and centrifugal force in textbooks in standard 8th, 9th, 10th, we talk about cars, and when you're turning on roads, the roads are always at an angle. They are not flat. If they would be flat, the car would just jump out of the curve due to centrifugal force. That is skidding in case of the aircraft. So we make the roads. There's a science, the same physics goes into the construction of roads also, that the road is at an angle with the horizon so that when the car is turning at a high speed, it does not skid off. It's everywhere, you know. These laws are basic laws. Okay, so I'm going to show you and see if you can understand this session. If not, then just go through this part of the session again and again. You might understand. I'm going to show you a small rotor, and I'm going to show you the direction of rotation. Students, think about it. Study rigidity, precession, and the formula. Very important, easy to score. Okay? Okay. So I hope you can, it's too bright, is it? Okay. I don't know, you can see this. Let me increase the thickness of the arrow. So, Manan, what's the formula for rigidity, or what are the factors that increase rigidity? Quick answer.
The formula for rigidity is rigidity is equal to moment of inertia.
Rigidity is directly proportional to Baba.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rigidity
अच्छे
is
से पढ़ो Manan. I'll come back to you. Mithika, same question.
So rigidity is directly proportional to moment of inertia into rate per revolution per minute of rotor.
RPM also you can say.
Yes, sir.
Rotation, revolution, one and the same thing in this regard. पर जब आप इतना आंसर दे ही रहे हो तो पूरा आंसर दो ना, फिर मोमेंट ऑफ इनर्शिया को भी एक्सप्लेन कर दो. Hussain, coming back to you with the same question. Come on, students, you have one shot, one opportunity. Say everything in one answer. Na? Why give thoda, 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 thoda? एक साथ सब बोल देना. Remember that.
Sir, rigidity is directly proportional to moment of inertia and RPM, where it depends on the mass of the rotor and the speed of revolution of the rotor. And inertia is the ability of body to
नहीं
move.
नहीं 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 गड़बड़ है. सही नहीं बोल रहे आप. अच्छे से बोलो, वापस बोलो.
So inertia or rigidity?
मेरा नाम बताओ मुझे वापस. Talking about rigidity. Whole answer. Come on.
So rigidity is directly proportional to moment of inertia and RPM of the rotor.
And I'm expecting a complete answer.
And rigidity depends on the mass of the rotor and the RPM.
क्या खिचड़ी बना रहे हो आप? हाँ? You're so close to the correct answer. Read it
So
again.
more the mass, more the
Read it
rigidity.
again. Chaitanya, you tell me. क्या चल रहा है ये सब? हाँ? इतनी छोटी छोटी चीजें इतनी फुर्सत में पढ़ा रहे हैं आपको और आप लोग ऐसा कर रहे हो. चैतन्य.
Yes, sir. Sir, rigidity is depend on the inertia and the RPM of the rotor. And inertia means when a moving body, the body keeps moving unless and
बस
until.
बस बस मुझे स्टैंडर्ड 8 में नहीं जाना है, मुझे जायरोस्कोप के बारे में इनर्शिया का डेफिनेशन चाहिए। क्या चल रहा है स्टूडेंट्स यहाँ? नकुल, इतना ही टाइम मिलेगा लाइफ में कभी कभी, ठीक है? नकुल,
Sir,
कम ऑन।
rigidity talks about the gyro which is fixed and fixed fixed on its own rotation.
हाँ हाँ, कुछ अलग ही बोलो आप, ठीक है? कैरी ऑन, आई विल गिव यू सम टाइम, फिनिश दिस आंसर, जल्दी जल्दी।
Sir, I forgot that point last. In direction of axis.
ठीक है, ठीक है।
Sir, inertia is the measure of how big and how heavy the gyro is.
या थैंक यू, बट एक साथ बोलना चाहिए ना सब कुछ। स्टूडेंट्स, एवरीथिंग इज कनेक्टेड, प्लीज डोंट डिफरेंशिएट, ओके? What I'm expecting is rigidity is directly proportional to the moment of inertia. Moment of inertia is defined by the mass of the rotor and the effective radius of the rotor and the RPM, which needs to be higher. Higher the moment of inertia, higher the rigidity. Higher the RPM, higher the rigidity. That's it. 10 सेकंड में नहीं लगा मुझे बोलने के लिए। क्या चल रहा है? मजाक चल रहा है क्या? Take couple of more minutes, study this carefully. I'm giving you time to study है। कौन करता है इतना? मन क्या चल रहा है? कोई मल्टीटास्क कर रहा है तो मत करो यार, दूसरा काम पूरा कर लो, लेक्चर बाद में पढ़ लेना, कोई इश्यू नहीं है मुझे। इतना मेहनत करके, इतना टाइम दे के, 2-4 चीजें नहीं समझ आ रही है, नहीं याद हो रही है, तो क्या फायदा? तो मुझे लगेगा टाइम वेस्ट हो रहा है हमारा, फिर मैं वो शॉर्टकट यूज करूँ क्या? फिर तो तुम और भी कुछ नहीं समझोगे। समझना अलग है, पढ़ना अलग है। द एबिलिटी टू गिव आंसर इज वेयर वी सील द डील। Only then, when you have this clarity, only then you can say that you have mastered it. कम से कम कहीं लिख के रखो ना, देख देख के याद रहेगा ना। कम ऑन, चेकलिस्ट रखने का उसमें कोई इश्यू नहीं है व्हेन यू आर लर्निंग। नुकुल तो देख देख के भी नहीं याद कर पा रहा था, प्रेशर आ जाता नहीं। उतनी बड़ी बड़ी बात, अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं मिलेगी, सो यू विल बी स्कैर्ड, ओह माय गॉड, व्हाट इफ आई मिस माय फ्यूचर अपॉर्चुनिटीज। जस्ट टेलिंग यू दैट तुमको बोल रहा हूँ, कोई आंसर चाहिए, करेक्ट आंसर चाहिए, तो फटाफट गैदर करो ना दिमाग में जो समझाया है। प्रिसेशन तो क्या ही बोल दोगे तुम लोग फिर। अश्विनी, प्रिसेशन।
Yes, sir. So precision can be said as a so it is basically opposite of rigidity, and like gyro with high rigidity with low precision. If gyro presses a lot, it means low rigidity, and precision happens when a force called torque is applied through the gyrospin axis.
थ्रू और टू?
Sir, two.
Okay, carry on.
Yes, sir. And so this torque disturbs the rigidity and changes the direction from the original direction by a shift in the axis of the rotor from its original rigid position. And the precision will always act 90 degree in the direction rotor rotation after the torque is applied on the spin axis. And precision is directly proportional to the torque upon rigidity.
Torque upon rigidity क्या होता है? Don't ruin a very good answer. टॉर्क अपॉन रिजिडिटी कोई फ्रैक्शन नहीं है। देयर इज अ टॉर्क अपॉन रिजिडिटी क्या होता है? डायरेक्टली प्रोपोर्शनल टॉर्क अपॉन रिजिडिटी, कुछ नया है ये चीज। Ashwini, finish your answer. Such a good answer. Finish it.
Yes, sir. So pressure is directly proportional to torque, sir.
और क्या? आखिरी चीज क्या? क्या? अरे खुद से तो सोचो यार, मुझे नहीं आ रहा है, तुम लोग क्या क्या है? सामने है सब कुछ यार। क्या है वो लास्ट चीज? ये बस अश्विनी, ये लास्ट चीज के चक्कर में रह जा रहे हैं हम लोग। कल भी बताया था तुम्हें मैं, लास्ट एक एलिमेंट छोड़ देते हो तुम, कहीं ना कहीं सब पढ़ लेते हो, और वो एक एलिमेंट के चक्कर में सब चला जाएगा हमारा। फिर इस कॉन्सेप्ट पे बोल रहा हूँ। अरे क्या है फ्रैक्शन में यार, क्या है, व्हाट इज दिस, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस, व्हाट इज द मीनिंग ऑफ दिस? Ashwani and class, what are the meaning of these two in terms of variation?
If
Precession is inversely proportional to rigidity and precession is directly proportional to torque.
क्या अश्विनी, क्या ध्यान किधर है? किसका मैसेज आया था लास्ट लास्ट में? जल्दी ब्रेक ले लिया था क्या? लास्ट क्या है तो अब भी दिया है मैंने, मतलब लेट आए हो आप क्लास में। Precession is directly proportional to torque and inversely proportional to rigidity. That is, precession is, मैंने एक लाइन भी लिखा है यार आपको अभी, precession is directly proportional to torque and inversely proportional to the moment of inertia and the RPM of the rotor. लिखवाया भी है यार, नहीं लिखा गया आप लोग ने? पेपर प्लेन बना रहे हो क्या नोटबुक का? Even I like making paper planes, but that's not going to help me build a career, right? Buck up, okay? Understand, you want to be in the big leagues or not? You want to be the best or not? Think about it. This is where you make yourself best, slow and steady. This is you transforming yourself right now. Forget everything else. क्या होता है studies? What is studies, students? Studies is building mental muscle, right? Just like any sports person would do what we are doing right now. Someone who's in sports would be doing the same thing on a field, working out 5 hours, 6 hours, 7 hours, 8 hours every day. Why? To be the best, right? Look at Dwayne Johnson. 25 years, he works out 8 hours a day because wrestling was his main career, so that he could become the best. A politician, a prime minister has been doing the same job for 30, 40 years to become the best. That's why he is best. Don't you want to become the best? If not, then how will we get that job? Think about it. तुम मिनिमम एफर्ट ले रहे हो अभी भी। दो चार चीजें याद रखने से कुछ नहीं होने वाला यार। इट्स अ वेरी वेरी हाई लेवल थिंग, एविएशन एजुकेशन। Think about it. Okay, so let's look at this now. So this is a horizontal gyro and this is a rotor spin axis. Okay, a rotor, this is the spin axis in blue, and the direction of rotation is this. So only my rotor is going to rotate at a high RPM, not my axis, but the shaft might rotate. We don't know. So I'm just rotating it like this. So you see the direction of rotation is that. Okay. Horizontal gyro, where the plane of the rotor is vertical. Vertical gyro, where the plane of rotor is horizontal. All right. Vertical gyro, where the plane of the rotor is horizontal. Horizontal gyro, where the plane of the rotor is vertical. Now, what is precession? Precession is a force applied to the axis. So I can say precession can act like this also. I can attach a weight on the axis. Okay. If I attach a weight on the axis, this is going to bend like this. The moment it bends, I can see that this axis is being deflected up. But this is not how precession is acting. This is the only difference. Precession acts 90 degrees in the direction of the rotation from a point where the force is applied. So now study this carefully, okay? If this weight is pulling the force down, this is the torque, like this, okay? It means this will put a force here on this side of the disc. Remember, this, if the force is down, this will induce a force directly on the disc here. So this is the point on the disc where the torque will act here, if the force is down. And as per the rule, the precession will act Not here. If the precession would have acted here, I would have got this. But precession is not acting here. It's acting 90 degrees in the direction of rotation. So the direction of rotation is this. So 90 degrees is this point over here. This point. So the deflection will be obtained at this point. So what happens? The torque applied is this. Point of torque is this. 90 degree is this point. So the deflection will happen like this. As if somebody was putting a force at this point. Means like this. So the deflection obtained when the torque applied like this, the deflection obtained is like this from the original position. So from a vertical perspective, if I have to show you to understand how the displacement would be measured, then it would be like this. Okay, just think about it. The behind the pencil behind the axis behind is the original axis. Okay, one of them will be original, one of them would be deflected. So I'm applying the torque here. It is rotating like this 90 degree, and then it is deflecting me like this. So I get this deflection. Earlier, I was thinking my deflection would be like this, which is not the case. The deflection would be 90 degree like this. And this is that displacement. This is the original. This is the deflected one, the angular displacement. So remember, precession, if I have to talk about, let's say, torque applied in the up direction, up. Torque applied up. Torque will act on the rotor here. But the precession will act 90 degree like this. So it will deflect me there. That's all that you need to remember. How many of you all have not got it? Let me know. It will take you some time. To me also, it took a lot of time to understand when I was learning it. So I know patience is the key if you have not directly got it. But if you have got it directly, then good for you. The torque is applied on the axis. The force is transferred on the rotor. The rotor will be deflecting my axis, but 90 degrees in the direction of rotation. I say again, torque will be applied to the axis. From the axis, the point of torque will go on the rotor. It will not deflect directly like this. It will deflect 90 degree in the direction of rotation like this. So instead of like this, it'll go like this. That's why, my dear Hussain and my dear Manveer, we are using the other gyro for artificial horizon just because of this 90 degree variation. 90 degree of the precession. वो आप कनेक्ट करोगे ना अपने लॉजिक में तो आपको डाउट कभी नहीं आएगा बाद में. Still, I see a few confused faces in my imagination. Discuss your doubts quickly. Discuss your doubts. What is gyroscopic inertia? Rigidity is also called as gyroscopic inertia. Remember that?
Sir,
Mm-hmm.
so will this precession is the force that's the means what we say is the one advantage that we get from gyroscope, which helps to calculate the rate of turns and angles,
Mm-hmm.
these all things.
What are you trying to say?
Um, means just a second, sir.
A second is all it takes. Right.
Sorry.
That's what you're saying, right? Just a second. Telling me the importance of a second, right?
No.
Just a joke.
We
Yeah.
get
Come on.
when the distance.
Write down classification of gyro.
I'll ask
Okay.
afterwards.
I can ask na, continue na asking. तुम्हारा wait yeah, बोलते रहो ना. Students write down type gyro classification, displacement gyro, rate gyro. Okay. In displacement gyro, we have two gyros. One is the artificial horizon, and the second is the directional gyro indicator. Very simple, very high scoring points given to you in a simple tabular format. Do not forget it. And rate gyro, you will write turn and bank indicator, or turn coordinator, which is also a modified version of the same. In displacement gyro, you can write displacement gyro measures angular difference or angular displacement. Okay. And rate gyro, you will write measures rate of change of angular displacement or angular measurement. That's it. Very simple things. Any doubts? Study this couple of points more, and then let's quickly get down to the other two gyros. So I think, what type of gyro is artificial horizon? Vertical or horizontal? Who can tell me?
Vertical.
Vertical axis.
Very good. Very good. So we have done artificial horizon, we have done turn coordinator. Right now, first we'll do DGI, directional gyro, and then we'll go to turn and slip indicator or rate of turn indicator. Yeah, sorry, please go ahead.
Sir, I'm getting confused between vertical axis gyro and vertical gyro. Both are the
एक
same
ही
thing.
है, एक ही है. क्यों confuse होना है? Go on the keywords ना. Go with the axis. Orientation notes में दिया है ना. The axis is the orientation, not the plane of the rotor. एक ही बात है ना. Go on the keywords. Vertical axis means vertical gyro.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be confused. Good. तुम्हारा हुआ क्या मानवीर? नींद आ रही है तुम्हें?
नहीं sir. नहीं sir. Sir, so can we say it like that? Means these two gyroscopic effects, rigidity and gyroscopic precisions, are the only things and reasons that are responsible for the measurements that we get from these all instruments. These two effects give us all these measurements and angular displacements and rate of change in angular displacements. Is this?
Yeah, what else? Of course.
Okay, sir.
और क्या ही होगा?
Thanks.
What was your earlier doubt? I'm not sure. Huh?
This was the doubt, sir. Yeah, this was.
Okay. Students fast, okay? DGI. Directional gyro indicator. So artificial horizon or attitude indicator is vertical gyro, earth gyro, vertical axis earth gyro. Two classifications. Why are we calling it earth gyro or what is it? It will come to you later, not now. But remember those keywords, okay? Please do not miss onto the keywords. I'm trying to do something where in a shorter time you get the maximum advantage in terms of concepts learned. Do not forget them. If I try to do all that at the same time, the whole week will go only in gyro then. We don't have the liberty of that much of time. Okay, this much if you master, and when you do the other things, after that it will be very easy to just quickly discuss wander and the error and the differentiation in earth gyro and tide gyro, whatever. It's a very simple flow chart. But remember the key points. That is very important. Memorize the key points. Because in the exams, that's the language you'll be given. Are we following?
sir.
DGI is also a gyro. Now, DGI is going to measure directions, right, students? And directions are generally measured from a compass. And compass will be making horizontal measurements only, right? Like this, a compass, like a dial of a watch. So what kind of gyro will I use in a DGI? Horizontal or vertical? Guesses.
Horizontal.
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 I want everyone to guess. दिमाग में guess नहीं करना है, मुझे भी बताना है. I wish I was a mind reader. How about others? 3-4 बच्चों ने दिया जवाब. रुको कि नहीं रुको, आगे बढ़ता हूँ. चलो कोई बात नहीं देना तो मत दो, कोई बात नहीं.
Horizontal, sir.
As long as you're learning, it's fine for me.
Horizontal.
Write down. DGI is horizontal axis tight gyro. Tight is the keyword. Horizontal axis gyro, horizontal gyro, one and the same thing. Okay, Mithika, if you're confused, keep resolving the confusion in class itself. Do not struggle. DGI is a horizontal axis tight gyro. 3 बार read कर लो इसको जल्दी से. Read it 3 times. Many people don't know what this instrument is, you know. They think ये कोई radio based instrument होगा in the basic 6 layout or basic T layout. Unless you really remember that, okay, that is a DGI, not just a compass. And this DGI is like a dial fitted right on the cockpit in the 6 primary instruments or 4 instruments. And it will have a white aircraft like this symbol of aircraft on it from the pilot's perspective, like from your perspective like this. And it will have a rose line 0 to 360. It will show you exact directions without any acceleration or deacceleration or turning errors. So it has to be tied to something to give us that reference. It's like that. Just like artificial horizon has to be tied to the artificial horizon of the actual horizon of the Earth. So we tie it so that we get some reference. So we call it tied gyro. Any gyro that is given Earth as a reference will be called as Earth gyro. Otherwise, some other reference. So a slaved gyro generally is also a tied gyro only, where we say the gyro is a slave of that particular magnetic compass. Do not get confused about these terms, okay? If they ask you, what is the alignment of the spin axis of a DGI? A very important question. The alignment of the spin axis of a DGI is in the yawing plane. So the horizontal gyro can either be like this. So if this is the longitudinal axis, nose to tail, then when I say my spin axis is with the longitudinal axis, then my gyro would look like this. The axis would be aligned with the longitudinal axis. When I say the axis is aligned with the lateral axis, then the lateral axis is wingtip to wingtip. So my spin axis would be like this. So this becomes the yawing plane, nothing else. So it's horizontal. So probably what they're trying to say is it's like this. The spin axis is in the yawing plane. Probably I'm saying, let's see if we figure that out. But this is what it is. This is also horizontal. This is also horizontal. Got it, everyone? मुझे तो लग रहा है मेरी अकेले की पढ़ाई हो रही है आज. Number 3, limits What are the limits of measurement of a DGI? Okay. Can my DGI give me accurate readings in all orientations? Well, when I'm pitching, my DGI can give me accurate readings when I'm pitching up to 85 degrees. What is 85 degrees? This is 0. This is 90. So this is 85 pitch attitude. 0, negative 85. 0, positive 85. This is pitch up. Got it? Pitch down. So this angle up to 85 DGI is going to give me good readings, which is a very good thing because aircraft is not going to pitch so high. Commercial jet liners, not fighter jets, of course. And the limits while rolling in which DJI could give me, again, 85 degrees. So good. DJI is good. Write down the purpose of DJI. I'm dictating this to you. DJI provides. Now, this is very confusing. If I don't give it to you in the exam, you might not be able to mark it as a correct option. So, the purpose of DJI is to provide a datum. The purpose of DJI is to provide a datum from which heading can be measured. So DJI gives you your heading. The purpose of DJI is to give you a datum, in bracket you could write reference, from which heading can be measured. So this is the exam language thing. Our layman language would be direction. So purpose to give datum, that is reference from which aircraft heading can be measured. You already know it's a displacement gyro in the classification. Remember the classification chart. If you want, you can add those points in these topic-wise points. Let's quickly go ahead. Okay. Remember, I told you that in order to get a yawing indication, I will need two gimbals. Okay. A simple gyro will give me pitch and bank. Here, the alignment is also in the yawing plane, plus directions are happening in the horizontal only, students, where this and this is just like yawing. It means my DJI can move in all 3 degrees. It has a freedom to move in all 3 degrees, all 3 planes, pitch, bank, and of course, yaw. So yaw, it will move 360 degree. If you're thinking, sir, yaw ka kya limit hota hai? If you're thinking, sir, what is the limit in the yaw? It's going to measure all directions, all headings, 0 to 360. Pitch and bank, 85, 85. So you will write freedom of movement is in all 3 planes. But the gyro could be said as 2 degree of freedom gyro or 3 degree, depending upon where the question is asked. So EASA doesn't recognize the spin axis as a degree of freedom, is what I'm trying to say. So even if you have 3 planes in which the gyro can move, we can say it has 2 degree of movement. This is the point of confusion, where we get wrong marks. For some people who are doing, studies since a long time. So write down freedom of movement, 3 planes. Students, should I be worried about you? Freedom of movement is in 3 planes. Is everyone okay? Because everyone is off, video off. I hope आप इतना बोर नहीं हो गए होगे क्लास छोड़ के चले गए हो सब लोग.
नेगेटिव सर.
आवाज से तो लग रहा है भाई.
नहीं सर.
कौन बोला वो बताओ? नेगेटिव सर. It's like, we see it in movies, somebody has a show, I think in the old Spider-Man movie, and once she is very successful, the actress, and the other day, people just leave out from the auditorium. Kitna bura lagta hoga, right? Live seeing audiences go out of the stadium. It happens in sports events also when a team is disappointing the crowd. कभी कभी मुझे ऐसा लग जाता है पता. But on the other side, I'm like, अच्छा वो लोग भी चले गए तो मेरे को free time मिलेगा. But I don't think like that, you know. Freedom of movement is in 3 planes. What are the 3 planes? Yaw, pitch, roll. Now do not get confused. They can twist the question in any way and they could check and they could test your presence of mind in the exam. Please do not get fooled. Okay? That is roll, pitch, yaw. Measurement is in the yawing plane only though. Okay? Write down the drive of rotor in DGI. How is the rotor given the RPM? How is it driven? In air-driven gyros, you can write air jets, small jets of high-speed air jets, in air-driven gyro. And of course, torque motor in electrical gyros. So torque motor will be there whenever you're using electrical gyros, just like in the other gyro we saw. Torque motors are heavy-duty motors. Torque motors are used extensively in aircrafts. Torque motors in electrical gyros. And I think I should also give you a point about the errors. Although I'm not going to discuss the errors now. Okay, just giving it to you in the list. Remember the errors, just the points. What are the errors that my DGI can face? Because it's giving me heading, it becomes one of my directional references instrument, which is a very important thing. So it will have errors. If it has, then I have to be aware about these errors so that I don't get fooled by the reading of the instrument. So there are many errors. Some of the errors are common for all gyros. Some of the errors are just dedicated or only focused on the specific gyros. Although the explanation is not going to be discussed now, but I'll make sure keep it there somewhere written so that we steal some time and do some quick session on the errors sometime later in future. Errors. First error you can write gimbaling error. Whenever you have more than one gimbal, sometimes they all can come align with each other and it is called as a gimbal lock. It means the suspension is not going to work. Then there is one error called as random wander. When you have written errors in the heading over there, right, in bracket right, also called as wander. Wander and error is the same thing. In gyro, the error is called as wander when it comes to the deflection and rigidity. Mechanical errors are generally called as errors. Functional errors are called as wanders, I could say. Wander, what is wander? Someone is wandering here and there. So the gyro, instead of having rigidity, goes somewhere else or points in some other direction. That is wander. So wander means nothing but error. What are these errors are very simple to understand, but not right now. We'll do it when the right time comes. Okay. Random wander. Random wander. Third is apparent. So one error is called as random error and the other error is called as apparent error. Random wander, apparent wander. There is also one type of wander that is transport wander. And one more error is rotor speed error. So why are these two, the first and the last, called as errors? Because they are generally more towards the mechanical aspect of it. Rotor speed could be impacted due to the air drive, the air pressure not being enough, or the torque motor not performing properly. And gimbal lock, gimbaling errors can happen mechanically with any gyros. No problem. The other three wonders are nothing but the error in the reading, nothing else. Just like I would say that the compasses had errors. I was saying that they will not show you the exact reading. They'll show you either more or less. Wonder is something like that.
So transport wonder is because due to change of aircraft position.
कौन पूछ रहा है?
Sir Ashwani.
और नाम बोलने में तो दिक्कत क्या हो रही है? Yeah, of course. The key to remember is that only. मेरे दिमाग पढ़ लिया आपने, मेरे दिमाग में वही चल रहा था, मैं आप लोग को बताऊंगा, but not now. Transport wonder कैसा होता है ना, Ashwini? So students, one thing that you should know, wherever you are, whichever airport, okay, that airport will have a local meridian. Okay, that local meridian becomes your local north always. But that local meridian is converging towards the North Pole always. So whenever you're using DGI, which is a tied gyro, it has to be tied to a certain reference. If I'm tying it to this particular airport meridian as a reference, and then when I'm flying maybe 30 D long to the right or 30 D long to the left, and when I land at that airport, my alignment is going to change because that local meridian has changed. So the error between the two is called transport wonder. And there's a formula for that. Similar to what you have seen in your grade circles and all. So there's transport wonder when you change the aircraft location. So the pilot needs to be aware. Okay. Okay. जिसको समझा उसको ठीक है, बाकी लोग रहने दो. Quickly take a couple of minutes and quickly read all the important points about DGI. Apart from wonders, see if you have anything errors. Wonders, maybe if you have something you can try and discuss. If I feel like talking about it now, I can. Otherwise, I'll say wait for it. Keep it in the parking lot and make sure parking lots are dated. I hope you remember the last page with dates. Today is what, 13? You know, I have a very funny thing to share, but I don't think it's appropriate in a class right now. So I might not share. Was this yesterday? It's very funny. Maybe I'll see it later. I'll say it later when you all have graduated. Okay. Couple of minutes quickly to DGI. We have to wrap up fast and we have to do this rate of turn indicator also. By the way, can anyone tell me what is that slip and skid indicator called as in the artificial horizon? I think Jyotsna is going to give me this answer.
That
Mithika, Hussain, Manan. Eyes on you.
inclinometer.
कौन बोल रहा है?
मनवीर.
मानवीर इतना शर्मा के बोल रहे हो या थक गए हो?
नहीं सर. सर
तो जबान इतनी कम खुल रही है. नॉट श्योर अबाउट द आंसर क्या?
no sir, sure, inclinometer.
तो हाँ, अच्छे से दो ना फिर.
Yes.
क्या हो गया? और बाकी लोग ने आंसर नहीं दिया? नॉट इवन ज्योत्सना. हाँ, नो प्रॉब्लम. कल बताया तो था सब कुछ. मितिका किधर है रिवीजन? कोई बात नहीं. We still have time. Get things done. So this turn coordinator is what we learned. Turn coordinator is an advancement of the basic turn and band indicator. It's a very simple thing. It will be mentioned which kind of turn is to be executed for this particular aircraft and what kind of turn is going to be guided by that particular instrument. Either a standard, that is 2-minute turn, or the non-standard turn, if there is any. So if I have to take a non-standard turn, then the turn coordinator is not going to help me because it would already be mentioned on the turn coordinator. Is it a 2-minute turn or not? But that is a better instrument to use because it has simplicity. Just two indexes, level index and turn index. And the ball maintained in between means a coordinated turn or a balanced turn. A right turn, the ball in the right means slip. The reason is that the rudder is inadequate. Solution is apply more rudder. In a left turn, the ball is on the right. It means it is skidding. The reason is that the rudder is extra, over in excess. Solution is reduce the rudder. Which rudder? Left rudder. In the earlier example, right rudder. This in itself gives you an answer worth 30 to 40 practice questions, students. That's why I say जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ उसको अच्छे से पढ़ो. Hussain, what I've just said, I can easily show you or make you practice 30 to 40 questions just based upon these points. तो आप लोग इसको हल्के में मत लो यार. I'm thinking me making it easy is actually causing trouble to you all because you take it for granted. Don't do that, okay? आपको जितना मैं इजी करके पढ़ा रहा हूँ अगर आप लोग उसका भी 20% पढ़ोगे तो क्या फायदा फिर. जो मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ ना उसका 100% करना है स्टूडेंट्स अगर आपको 85% रिजल्ट्स लाने हैं तो. For your personal score, huh? Not the actual class score. Oof. Hunger, huh? Hunger calling finally. Sure. 2 more minutes. DGI, any more doubts?
So there is a little doubt. Can I ask?
I don't know. Can you?
I think.
Try asking. We'll get to know if you can ask or not.
Yes, sir. So, in this in heading indicator, we just need the heading and means it measures horizontally from 0 to 360. So means yawing, as you told, the spin axis alignment is in the yawing plane. So why do we have any limits for the pitch and roll that is 85 degree? If we just need from 0 to 360, अगर 0 से 360 तक की वो चाहिए वो तो वर्टिक मतलब हॉरिजॉन्टल प्लेन में होगा ना यॉइंग तो नॉट इन वर्टिकल प्लेन और रोल और पिच तो वर्टिकल प्लेन में को डिस्टर्ब करते तो दैट्स व्हाई सो व्हाई देयर इज अ लिमिट फॉर दिस.
ये जो आपका जायरो है ना ये बाय डिफॉल्ट रोल और पिच भी मेजर करता है. एक्स्ट्रा मेजर करने के लिए जो यॉइंग प्लेन में है वहां पे हम एक और गिम्बल डाल दें. भले ही हम वो पिच एंड रोल मेजर नहीं कर रहे हैं बट वो होता है. वी कैनॉट टेक इट अवे. वी कैनॉट टेक दैट अवे फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग. दैट्स व्हाई द लिमिटेशंस आर गिवन. वो है उसको हम प्रिवेंट नहीं करना चाहते. वी डोंट वांट टू कॉम्प्लिकेट द इंस्ट्रूमेंट डिजाइन. इट्स नॉट इम्पैक्टिंग अस.
Got it. Thank you.
This is why students get confused, you know, like in exams also someone will be like, DGI में मेरे को pitch and roll का क्यों मांग रहे हैं यार, मेरे को तो बस horizontal yaw में चाहिए. So that's where you need to connect. Yawing के लिए you have to add extra gimbal. It means the first gimbal, single gyro, simple gyro, always will measure pitch and bank. It has to have those limits. Simple. Okay. Good question.
Yes, sir.
Very nice. See, you could ask. पूछा तब पता चला. So this is a joke which I'm trying to crack. Sometimes in English, when we're talking about perfect English, whenever someone says, "Can I ask you something?" the actual reply is, "I don't know. Can you?" So the actual thing is, "May I ask?" If you need a permission, then the word is "may I." So I was just being a grammar monitor over there, nothing else. But jokes apart,
Yes.
yeah. Just a joke. मानवीर बोले, "Sir, क्या हो रहा है sir? Like, ऐसा क्यों कर रहे हैं? मेरे को hijack क्यों कर रहा है?"
From next may I?
नहीं, otherwise the class is so boring. If I don't entertain myself, I'm gonna fall asleep teaching. Sorry, students. Don't take it to your heart. अदरवाइज बोलोगे तो क्या मैं नाचू क्या क्लास में? यू विल गो टू योर फ्रेंड, अरे आज सर ने मूड खराब कर दिया, सर ने सुना दिया, तो क्या मैं नाचू क्लास में सबके सामने? देन योर फ्रेंड विल बी लाइक, छोड़ना ये लोग का, सर लोग ऐसे ही होता है, जाने देना। पढ़ाई पे ध्यान दे। I can imagine the girls talking to their friends like that. Just kidding, huh? Just kidding. So what I'm trying to say here is that these things are very easy to understand, but मानवीर actual doubts पूछ रहा है जो एक beginner को नहीं पूछना चाहिए, जो वो पूछ रहा है. So he's asking me doubts with respect to, I can see that वो सब कुछ अच्छे से पढ़ रहा है, इसलिए वो पूछ रहा है. तो it doesn't matter आपने कितना पढ़ा कितना नहीं पढ़ा, अगर आपने ये 2 लेक्चर अटेंड किए मेरे साथ तो आपका इस लेवल पे होना ही चाहिए अंडरस्टैंडिंग. सो आई होप आप सब लोग इन्वॉल्व हो इसमें प्लीज, बिकॉज अदरवाइज अदरवाइज इट बी लाइक 1000 लोगों का खाना बनवा लिया और कोई आया ही नहीं खाने को. इट्स गोना बी लाइक दैट देन. Do you see the examples? They all come based upon the mood right now. Now I'm feeling hungry, so I'm getting food examples. When I feel like singing, then I'll have music examples. When I think about
What's the
some,
business you're going to start?
अरे you remember Mitega?
Yeah. Raps also, you said.
Mood off हो गया बता business front पे since 5 days. Thanks for reminding ya. चलो. Turn TNS indicator, also called as rate of turn indicator. Okay. Similar to turn coordinator, but purani technology we could say, or maybe something else in some other aircrafts like that. A very easy thing to understand. In this, there are 2 elements. Similar to the turn coordinator. In the turn coordinator, we had 2 elements. One that will show us the turn 3 degree to the right or the left. Second, whether skid or slip. So there are 2 elements in the turn coordinator. In the turn and slip indicator or rate of turn indicator, also known as turn and bank indicator, there are 2 elements. So the first element is, so the name is turn and slip. Whenever there is turn, we call it rate of turn or turn and rate. There are multiple names, students. Do not get confused. It's the same thing. And then the slip indicator, S stands for the other part, the slip indicator. When I say turn and bank indicator, then it will only show me the turn and rate of turn, not the slip. When I say turn and slip indicator, then I see the rate of turn as well as the slip. So what I need is turn and slip both, bank and slip both, rate of turn and slip both, to have a balanced turn. If I don't have the slip indicator, then I'll be at a correct bank angle, of course, but I might not have a correct turn because roll causes yaw, and that yaw could make me slip or skid. In order to adjust that, I need to ensure that I check the inclinometer or whatever slip indicator I'm going to see here and keep adjusting the rudders to rectify the effect of the yaw. Okay. Are we all following?
FM, sir.
Rate and turn indicator. And slip indicator. Okay. Slip indicator generally would be like the inclinometer only. Let's see how it is in these instruments. So first, let's quickly write the rate and turn indicator. Quick points, okay? Quick points. It is a rate gyro. It means it measures the rate of change of angular displacement, right? Displacement gyro, rate gyro, हमने देखा था. It measures the rate of change of angular displacement. Rate and turn indicator is rate gyro. Write down the purpose. It measures a very important point, okay? It measures rate of turn. Now, students understand, okay, the yawing happens, the turn generally happens with respect to our understanding to align with from one heading to other heading across or around the vertical axis. The vertical axis is the axis where we measure the yawing moment. While turn although is happening like this, where the bank is measured with respect to the lateral axis and the pitch is measured with respect to the longitudinal axis, I could say. Okay. So write down this point. The DGI, correction, not the DGI, the rate of turn indicator, now we are not including the word slip. Rate of turn indicator, the purpose is the rate of turn indicator measures rate of turn, this much we know, but about what? Horizontal axis, vertical axis, lateral axis. This is where you get confused in the exams. The correct answer is measures rate of turn about vertical axis. Read it thrice so that you don't get confused in the exams. आ गया, लिख देना है. Simple. Hussain, I hope you are not facing challenges.
Yes, sir.
But what kind of gyro is it? Is it vertical axis gyro or horizontal axis gyro? Mitika, what is your guess?
Vertical axis. Sir, vertical axis ना.
कल देखा था ना टर्न कोऑर्डिनेटर कौन सा एक्सिस gyro था? Horizontal axis gyro. ये भी horizontal ही होगा ना? See, this is where the confusions will happen, students. Just because it's measuring the turn about vertical axis, we will get confused thinking it's a vertical gyro. It is not. Vertical gyro कौन सा है? आपको बता दिया. Which is the vertical gyro? Artificial horizon. DGI horizontal. Turn coordinator horizontal. This is also horizontal. Do not get confused. Okay, so write this next point. That's why I'm saying try to avoid your logic right now. Learn and develop your logic before applying. Everyone. This is what I say every time when I'm doing navigation, if you remember. You're building your logic now. So avoid any basic logic. It is a horizontal axis rate gyro. Okay. It's a horizontal axis rate gyro. Make sense now? The turn, our rate of turn indicator itself, I'm not talking about the slip. The slip is not having any gyro at all. Remember, whatever indication I'm going to get with slip, inclinometer is not based upon gyro. Only the bank angles are gyro instruments. So when I'm using a horizontal axis rate gyro, will I have 1 degree freedom? Will I have 2 degree freedom? Although I'm getting pitch and bank both in a basic gyro, I don't use the spin axis as degree of freedom as per EASA norms. EASA norms, FA norms, CAA norms are generally the same norms followed worldwide. Okay. So write down, it has one gimbal system. That is one. I'm writing chimp over there, not gimbal. Has one gimbal. This is all a hunger, nothing else. Has one gimbal and has 1 degree of freedom. You might seem 2 degrees, but remember the spin axis is not considered as 1 degree. That's why 1 degree. But I will get pitch and roll both. Both. Okay. Now, standard degree turn, okay? Now, this is very important because this is where the rate turn come in place. The confusion is rate 1, which is my standard turn. So my standard turns are like these. Standard turns. Generally, standard turn would mean rate 1. Rate 1 would mean 3 degrees per second. That is 2 minutes for 1 turn. Okay. And the second type of standard turn is rate 2. Very important term, okay? Rate 2. Rate 2 turn gives me 6 degrees per second. If it is 6 degrees per second, then Manan, you tell me how much time will it take to complete a 360-degree turn? Take your time.
1 minute.
Okay. Ashwini, तुम्हारा
1
क्या
minute. 1 minute, sir.
Suchita, what's your answer?
1 minute, sir.
Chaitanya?
Yeah, 700.
So 6 degrees for 1 second. 60 seconds in 1 minute. So 6 6 are 36. How are we calculating it, students? Can anyone explain?
360 divided by 6.
360 divided by 6 or 60?
60 multiplied by 6.
Simple calculation, right? You can do it in any way possible. Keep it simple, students. Do not let a room for confusion occur. So it takes, that is 1 minute for 360-degree turn. It is strange. Rate 1 takes 2 minutes and rate 2 takes 1 minute. I don't know why they call it like this. Sixth point, write down. This instrument, rate and turn indicator, rate of turn indicator, turn and bank indicator, requires lower rotor RPM than other gyros. Why? Because high rigidity is not required. Interestingly, a decent amount of rigidity is good enough for me in this case. Remember these points, okay? They look simple here in the exams. If you get confused, I don't want you to lose any points on the topics that we have covered, students. Lose points on the topics we have not covered. Makes sense. Then I'll be like, fine, not your fault. But if you lose points on the topics covered, then whom will we blame? It's not even about blame, it's about trying to do the best when we have the opportunity. Everybody make mistakes. Like the other day, that the captain of the England team, he missed a penalty shootout. They lost a chance, they lost a chance to win that final, semi-final, quarter-final. And he is the leading man in cricket, in football for their country. But he made a major mistake that cost them the chance. Imagine. It's like the greatest of cricketers making mistakes. Everybody make mistakes. It's fine. What all we can do is the mistakes should be minimum. So those people, they make mistakes, but once in a while, once in maybe 20 or 30 times, like that. So I think his record was out of 21 penalties, he had scored 17 penalties. So 4 he had missed. The fourth one was the last one. So his mistakes are very less comparatively, but I think it's still 20%. I'm not sure. Let me check. So we have to reduce our mistakes to the minimum, and that we do by sticking to what we have learned, by revising, understanding, and focusing. And that's how we score 85, 86, 90, whatever we are targeting. 17 divided by 21 into 100. $81. So I was right, 19%. God knows how I got so good with math, students. I used to not like it when I was a child. When I was in school, just because I never understood the formulas, because I never paid attention. No other reason, yeah. Now there is one point that can confuse some students. So write it exactly I'm giving you. It uses rate gyro that spins up. And away. Just remember these words, okay? So in the turn coordinator or a rate of turn indicator. So the earlier one, the yesterday one was helping us coordinate our turn. This one is just indicating whether our turn, whatever the turn value is, the bank or this or that. Okay. And now on the other side, attached to it is a slip indicator, which will show us whether we are slipping or not. So let's talk about the slip indicator quickly, similar to the inclinometer in your turn coordinator. All right. So the slip indicator is a pendulous device. It means it will move like this in a definite range, like a pendulum. Okay. Purpose. 3 different words, same meaning. Okay. 3 different phrases or sentences, same meaning. Purpose, it measures or it shows, first you'll say purpose. It shows balanced turn or amount of slip or skid. All right. Or all are the same things, okay? Same things. Balanced bank angle. Students, trust me, what I'm giving you, it's taken me a long time to gather all things in one place and give it to you so that you won't be confused. Ever. बहुत मुश्किल से बना ये चारों का ये जो मैंने आपको क्विक शॉर्ट नोट्स दिए हैं ना इट्स नॉट इजी टू गेट इट दिस वे डायरेक्टली इट्स व्हाट आई फिगर्ड आउट फॉर माई सेल्फ ओके आई डोंट नो कहीं और होगा तो होगा बेसिक टेक्स्ट बुक्स में तो नहीं है और भी कुछ पॉइंट्स आप ऐड कर सकते हो एज एंड व्हेन यू फाइंड अदर पॉइंट्स अदर प्लेसेस यू कैन ऐड टू दिस लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल दीस 4 gyro instruments. I don't mind, you can share, you can consult. Mithika had shared a document. There also they had made this table. I had not seen the table. It seems like one table that I have made, like this cross chart that I've made, 4 sections. So make sure that you're aware. Right on the other point about this, It uses a inclinometer that is called as uses a ball in tube inclinometer. So there will be a glass tube, a ball, and some liquid, so that the liquid enables the pendulous effect. Remember, slipping is when the ball is inside the direction of turn. Skidding is when the ball is outside of the direction of turn, outside. With respect to that, there are two statements. These are the final two statements. Make sure you are thorough with these. Okay. What is the meaning if you have a too high bank angle? Earlier, the turn was related to the rudder and the orientation of the ball in the inclinometer. Now I'm talking about what if my bank angle is too high? What do you think? Just guesses. Ashwini, आप last में दोगे. Manvir, आप रुको. I'll take your names. Think about it. Too high bank angle. Is it slipping in, slipping out, skidding in, skidding out? So पहली चीज, slip will always be in. Slip means in. Slip cannot be out. Second thing, skid can never be in. Skid will always be out. So two options are gone. So slipping in, skidding out. Manan, what's your guess?
Slipping in.
Too high bank angle, slipping in. Remember this, students. These things you need to understand first. How and what you can take your own time, because it requires a lot of time. When you're flying, you can know why is that happening. Now, again, what could you do? If you are slipping in, bank angle is too high. So now you have two ways to correct your slip in. Let's say you are doing a right turn and you have a slip. What would you do? What is the reason? Less rudder, inadequate rudder. Solution, apply more rudder. In this instrument, turn or rate of turn indicator, you see if the bank angle is too high, you will get slip. So if you're getting slip in the inclinometer, what would you do? You'll reduce the bank angle. So if I'm banking to the right or rolling to the right, roll and bank is the same, okay? Right. And if I'm slipping in, either I play with my rudder, but that was taught to me when I was following the turn coordinator. When I'm looking at the turn and slip indicator, then slipping in, reduce the bank angle. Remember the key points with respect to the exams. High angle, low angle of bank related to turn and slip indicator. Rudder adjustments related to turn coordinator. That how also अगर आप टर्न एंड स्लिप में रडर डाल दोगे शायद आंसर गलत हो सकता है. समझ रहे हैं हम लोग? Understand these keywords. Exams are tough because of these reasons. Practically, we could say the combined effect is taking in place. But with respect to the examinations, we have to be very careful. चलो. Too high bank angle. खुशबू आ रही है सबको खाने की. नितिका को तो डेफिनेटली आ रही है. खुश लग रही है. क्या बना है? हमारे शेफ तो अब आए हैं. हमें तो खाना नहीं मिलना आज जल्दी.
आप डोसा भिजवा दो सर.
डोसा? अरे थैंक्स फॉर दिस सजेशन. सब भूल गया मैं, पता है मैं देखा. Life has been so rough. I've forgotten everything. Okay.
Invictus Aviation / डोसा.
Invictus ही रखते हैं ना नाम. Invictus Aviation, Invictus डोसा. पता नहीं और क्या क्या. हाँ. Yeah. Good idea. I'll make aubergine dosas, purple color dosa. कोई नहीं आएगा खाने को ऐसे बैंगन भरता डोसा I'm not sure if anyone's gonna eat, you know. Too high bank angle slipping in, and last point, too low bank angle. Too low bank angle slipping out or skidding out. What is the correct answer here? Sen? Slipping in
Skidding.
or skidding out?
Skidding out.
Or slipping out?
Skidding out.
Very good. Skidding out. Okay. Take a quick overview, everyone. See if you have any questions of everything that we have done so far. Quick. अगर हो गया है तो I might close the session early only now.
So just have one doubt. So can you explain that point which tells that it has only one gimbal and has 1 degree of freedom?
See, any basic gyro or gyro needs to be suspended in order to utilize it. The suspension system is called gimbal system. The suspension, the gimbal, is attached to the aircraft with the help of a frame. When we have one suspension, just one gimbal, that is a basic gyro. It gives me two motions, pitch and bank. But I call it 1 degree of freedom because the spin axis, it could be bank or it could be pitch. That is not counted as degree of freedom. So one gimbal, 1 degree of freedom, but two motions, pitch and bank. Got it?
Yes, sir. Yes.
No, sir, but yes, बोल रहा हूं मैं. क्यों नहीं समझ रहा है ये बात?
No, sir. I haven't got it.
तो सुन क्यों नहीं रहे हो फिर? क्या बोल रहा हूं मैं? एक ही चीज बार बार मिस कर रहे हो ना, बेसिक गिम्बल वाला. क्या करूं अब मैं तुम्हारा? तुम मेरे को बताओ कंफ्यूजन क्या है जल्दी.
So gimbals और ये 1 degree, 2 degree, 3 degree.
अरे पिच रोल यार 3 प्लेन.
Yes. Yes, sir.
ठीक है, उसी को
Yes.
3 डिग्री बोलते हैं.
Okay.
प्रॉब्लम क्या है तुम्हारी? समझ क्यों नहीं रहे हो तुम? पिच एंड रोल मतलब 2 हो गया, या मतलब 3 हो गया.
बिल्कुल.
EGI में तीनों मिल रहा है मुझे. तीनों क्यों मिल रहा है? बिकॉज उसमें 2 गिम्बल सिस्टम है. पहला गिम्बल सिस्टम पिच एंड रोल देता है मुझे, दूसरा गिम्बल मेरे को यॉ देता है. ये सब भूल क्यों रहे हो आप? पॉइंट्स, ये सब पॉइंट्स क्यों भूल रहे हो? तो जब मुझे पहला गिम्बल सिंगल गिम्बल 2 मूवमेंट्स देता है, मैं उसको 2 डिग्री फ्रीडम नहीं बोलता हूं. क्यों? एज अ कन्वेंशन द स्पिन एक्सिस इज नॉट कंसिडर्ड एज अ फ्री डिग्री ऑफ मूवमेंट. तो मैं उसको 1 डिग्री ही बोलता हूं, जबकि मुझे पिच एंड रोल दोनों मिलता है. कहां मिलता है? इन दोज gyros where there is one gimbal system. That is just a suspension system to give me the freedom of movement. क्या नहीं
Yes,
समझ आ रहा है यहाँ पे? बताओ यहाँ पे
So
क्या नहीं
फिर
समझ आ रहा है? बताओ.
फिर इसमें भी one in this also we have 1 gimbal. So we
Yeah,
should get pitch and roll both. So
yeah, we are getting pitch and roll.
then
But we
1
are,
degree of freedom.
क्योंकि एक उसका स्पिन एक्सिस है एंड EASA हमें बोलता है कि स्पिन एक्सिस को डिग्री ऑफ फ्रीडम नहीं गिना जाता है.
Oh, okay, spin axis.
रिलैक्स, मेरे को सिखाओगे रिलैक्स होना?
No, I don't know. I told that. Okay, sir.
रिलैक्स मैन,
No.
रिलैक्स. यू रिलैक्स.
Oh,
सीरियस हो गए तो. नहीं, मैं तो रिलैक्स नहीं हो सकता कभी यार. दैट्स माय लाइफ. तुम्हें टाइम लगेगा, मैं बोल रहा हूँ. ठीक है, वेट फॉर इट. अभी नहीं समझा ना, उसको पार्किंग लॉट में डाल दो. ये एक ही चीज समझनी है, उससे अलावा कुछ नहीं है. तुम्हें नहीं समझ रहा, टेक सम टाइम, यू विल गेट देयर. तुम बहुत जल्दी बहुत आगे बढ़ रहे हो, थोड़ा बहुत कंफ्यूजन तो रहेगा ना. लेट इट बी ना. ये सेम चीज अगर आप शायद टेक्स्ट बुक से रीड करोगे या कुछ देख लोगे, अपने आप समझ आ जाएगा जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. अच्छा, तो सर भी तो यही बोल रहे थे. अच्छा, अब समझ आया. ऐसा होगा.
sure,
तुम्हारे
sir.
हिसाब से समझ लो, a basic gimbal will give me 2 plane motions, but when I talk about degree of freedom or degree of movement, it reduces down to 1 only. because one of the plane of movement is aligned with the spin axis, and the spin axis I don't term it as a degree of freedom of movement. यही इसका एक explanation है बस. आएगा अपने दिमाग में, आएगा, थोड़ा थोड़ा उसको आने दो. ठीक है?
Okay, sir.
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't know if everyone does it, but everybody likes pizza, right? पूरा पिज्जा एक साथ तो नहीं खा सकते ना अपन.
No.
I don't know, किसी ने ट्राई किया होगा तो. एक एक स्लाइस खानी पड़ती है ना. Why do they cut it in slices, students? सोचा है कभी जिसने पिज्जा बनाया उसने क्यों स्लाइसेस बनाई? Because of course एक साथ कौन कैसे खाएगा इतना बड़ा पिज्जा? मैं खा सकता हूँ. I can try. Talk about sub sandwiches. Foot long. I always love that big sandwich that like the show in Scooby Doo cartoons. I want to eat it like them only. Can I eat it? I cannot. So yeah, ऐसा ही है. Wait for it. It will come to you. इसको अपने डाल दो पार्किंग लॉट में. थोड़ा R&D
Okay, sir.
करो, थोड़ा रीड करो, अपने आप
Too
समझ
many
आएगा.
food examples, sir.
Yeah, of course. मैं तो मेरा virtually मेरा खा पी रहा हूँ तुम्हारे साथ साथ. My hunger is satiated, I guess. Okay. Now, a couple of numericals I would want to do, but I'm not going to do it now. But I'm going to give you the technique. Just stay with me for a couple of more minutes, and then we're going to wrap it up. Manvir, keep discussing. I'm just being funny for my sake. गलत मत लेना. कल भी मैं आप लोग को बोल रहा था, students, don't find me rude. I'm just not well. Okay? So please.
Yes, sir. No.
Manvir बोलता है, sir, छोड़ो मेरा doubt. You relax.
No, sir. I haven't told you.
I like that.
I-
I like that.
No, I
I
haven't.
like such people who try to calm me down. Just
No,
yesterday,
no.
you know, relax रहे. Go on mute
I
रहे बाबा.
haven't.
कितना बोलता है इसको force mute करो. Okay, sorry. जबरदस्त इसका तो mute unmute ही block कर देता हूँ थोड़ी देर के लिए. Yeah. So last night I was going to bed and we had some issue in the society again. The power failure thing recurred. And you all remember the other day that happened and we could not take lecture a couple of months ago. So the committee, okay, I'm just sharing this in quick short time. It's made of people who are, in my opinion, not capable of running a society. All these days, we didn't care. We were respecting, oh, you are the secretary, you are the chairman, this and that. When crisis comes, you should see the way they handle crisis. That day when the problem had happened, just 2 days before, a small problem had happened. And it's with electrical fire. So it's big, right? The whole building could burn down, no? And the people could burn down. I have my I have my office, and the people, you know, they come and go. There's so many things that happen. I told them, why are you not getting it done? Get it done. And I came home. Like I came back. After 2 days, we had a major fire. Major fire as in the smoke could come till the terrace and everybody was rushing to the terrace. I thought dead today. And it was a very bad day. And then I got very, very angry. Okay. So I just showed them what it is all about. I went there, everybody was gathered when the fire brigade came and all. I called fire brigade, many people called fire brigade. And then I just gave them a piece of my mind. And when I shout, people don't listen because they get scared, I think. So it was pointless of me to raise the point because they didn't get it. I was hyper. I came back. I needed to get my work done, whatever. The same issue happened last night also. Okay, last night. So I'm just thinking to myself, how stupid are these people? And what are they waiting for? But I didn't go last night. I was like, let it be. And luckily, we didn't get affected. It was a minor error. I think in a couple of days, it's going to get back. A big fire is going to happen. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to go somewhere else, shift my office somewhere else, temporary, and do the work, is what I've realized. My plan of action. So yeah, people are stupid. So last night I was just thinking like this, you know, before going to bed. I wish there was someone to calm me down, you know, in such times. So today God's giving me Manvir, helping me calm me down, is what I'm trying to say. So Bhagwan dekho kitna sunta hai, right? So I like that. I'm not against it. Yeah, explain the story because I don't know, to explain the logic behind it. The other day also it had happened, right, students? So it happens. So I didn't know it would be Manvi telling me to calm down, but it works. So आप किसी चीज को दिल से चाहो तो वो मिल जाती है. It's true. So apply that for your navigation results and other exams also, students. ठीक है. Okay, I'm giving you steps to do this. मानवीर बोलेगा सर अनम्यूट पे जाऊं बट सर को पूछूं कैसे. मानवीर फील फ्री अभी. मेरा हो गया बोल के. So to calculate correct bank angle. So how do you know what should be the correct bank angle? Turn coordinator is not going to show you that. Turn coordinator is very easy. You just turn in a way that the aircraft symbol aligns with the turn index and you are good to go. You're actually getting a correct bank angle. But the other systems, I need to measure the correct bank angle. Sorry students, just finishing it. सबका चेहरा देख के मुझे ऐसे लग रहा है कि तू क्यों वो लोग को छोड़ नहीं रहा है. To calculate correct bank angle for a given task. So मानवीर तुम्हारा task भी आ गया यहाँ पे. Okay. Steps to follow. इसको लिख लेना. जब मैं आपको न्यूमेरिकल दूंगा ना, बस ये स्टेप्स फॉलो करना, आंसर मिल जाएगा आपको. ठीक है. Steps to follow. Step 1, find 1/10 of task. पहला चीज, whatever that task is. Step 2, add 7 to 1/10 of task, जो भी आपको ऊपर मिला है. Okay, 7 is the key number here. Okay, never forget this number. ये कहीं और से नहीं आएगा और ये आपको, I'm not sure if CX3 has this function. You will have to cross check. Step 3, मुझे भी स्मेल आ रही है. Step 3, result is accurate bank angle for that task. Students, how easy is this? Tell me how easy is this? All you have to
easy,
do
sir.
is just remember. Ashwini, क्या बोल रहे हो सर?
So easy, sir.
It is easy. बट अगर हमने नहीं पढ़ा तो हम सोचेंगे यार ये पता नहीं कब पता चलेगा लाइफ में. ये कैसे बताएं हम? So for example, if TAS is 360 knots, what is the correct bank angle? So focus on the keywords. बाकी कुछ दिया रहेगा question में. If it's not applicable, ignore it. Find correct bank angle. Follow the steps and give me your answers verbally.
43, sir. Lifted angle per 0.
Angle है ना, तो तुम्हारा मतलब है 43 kgs. अश्वनी
Negative, sir.
यूनिट के बिना आंसर दे रहे हो अभी भी मुझे. हाँ? पूरा आंसर दो भाई साहब.
43 degree.
43 degrees.
अरे अश्विनी डिग्री बोल दो यार, क्या जा रहे हो तुम्हारा.
The 43 degree.
So first step, 1/10, right? Yeah. So 360 divided by 10 is equal to 36. Second step, plus 7. Third step, 43 degrees is the correct bank angle. So pilots को पता होता है, इसीलिए pilots इतने स्मूथ और इतने स्टीप टर्न्स ले लेते हैं आफ्टर डिपार्चर. इसलिए हमें पूरा अर्थ एक साइड से, हमें पूरा अर्थ हमारे सिर पे दिखने लगता है. आई लव दैट फेज ऑफ अ फ्लाइट. इट रिमाइंड्स मी ऑफ इंसेप्शन. या इंसेप्शन. One more example I'm giving you. If TAS is 450 knots, find correct bank angle. इजी
53
45 + 7 = ये कोई तो गड़बड़ कर रहा है एक का, कोई तो पहले 42 भी बोल रहा था, यहाँ भी मुझे लगता नहीं 53 करेक्ट है। स्टूडेंट्स सिंगल प्लस माइनस भी आपको कैलकुलेटर पे करना है प्लीज।
052 degree.
वो डायरेक्शंस में फॉलो करना है नुकुल, गुड दैट यू रिमेंबर। बैंक एंगल 0 to 90 के बीच में ही होगा, सो टू डिजिट्स आर फाइन। स्टूडेंट्स ये प्लीज मेंटल मैथ मत करो नाव में, प्लीज मत करो। मैं पहला इंसान हूं जो बोल रहा है कैलकुलेटर यूज करो ना, एविएशन मतलब कम ऑन। इंजीनियरिंग स्टूडेंट सुनेंगे बोलेंगे यार ये क्या हो रहा है यार, ये लोग के साथ, ये लोग को कैलसी दे रहे हैं 2-2। वो लोग बोलेंगे यार तुम लोगों को तो 100 on 100 लाना चाहिए, एंड दैट इज ट्रू, यू नो इट्स नॉट डिफिकल्ट टू स्कोर 100 on नाव। ओके चलो।
No, sir. Even engineer student preferred calcies.
मुझे पता था कोई तो बोलेगा ये, CX3 ना। हम्म इसलिए मैंने बोला 2-2 कैलसी। चलो ठीक है, विल रैप अप हियर। इसके बाद का जो न्यूमेरिकल है ना, इट विल टेक सम टाइम इन थिंकिंग आई गेस, बिकॉज यहाँ पे है ना, just stay with me 1 second students, hungry people wait for a second. Yeah, write this. To find, ये कर ही लेते हैं ना अपन, चलो यार। To find the radius or the diameter of rate 1 turn. Rate 1 turn means 2 minutes 360 degrees 3 degrees per second. Okay. Example है, your TAS is 360 knots. It's very simple, okay? I'm explaining you. Try to follow it step by step. And turn rate is rate 1 turn. Okay. Solution. 360 knots means aircraft is crossing 360 nautical miles in 1 hour. Does everybody agree with this point? Of course, yes. Therefore, in 1 minute, how much am I going to cross, students? In 1 minute, aircraft will travel how many nautical miles? 360 divided by 60, because 60 minutes make 1 hour. Okay, so I get, cross check with your scientific calci, is it correct? 360 divided by 60. So in 1 minute, I get 6 nautical miles. What am I doing here is, I know my rate 1 turn has 2 minutes. So I'm going to find out at this speed, in 2 minutes, how much distance I'm going to travel. That distance becomes my circumference actually, because that's the complete turn, right? 360 degrees. And that circumference, I can use the formula 2 pi d or 2 pi r, whatever the formula I will see. And then I get the radius or the diameter. So a little bit physics is required and a little bit of time conversion is required. So these two things you have to think out of the box and you get a correct answer. चैतन्य कुछ समझ आ रहा है?
यस सर।
ठीक है, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा क्या?
नहीं सर, सही
नहीं लग रहा, मुंह पे बोल रहा है, नहीं लग रहा, मजा नहीं आ रहा।
नहीं सर।
फंस गया सर, इन्वेस्ट कर दिया, अब क्या करूं यार। एविएशन में भी ऐसा होता है, मुझे पता नहीं था चैतन्य।
नहीं सर, एविएशन इंटरेस्टिंग।
ठीक है, जिस दिन इंटरेस्ट कम हो ना, मेरे पास आ जाना तुम।
इट्स बेटर देन मेनी फील्ड्स।
मेरे पास आ जाना, नहीं तो मार खाओगे मम्मी पापा से, ऐसे बोल रहा हूँ मैं बचा लूंगा तुम्हें। तुम क्या समझ रहे हो पता नहीं। Yeah, it is better, you know, it is a confluence of all industries. Plus, It's its own science. Write down. Rate 1 turn completes in 2 minutes. Students, step by step. If you miss one step, you will not get the idea. Correct? It means one 360-degree circumference I'm going to complete in 2 minutes. 1 minute I'm crossing how much? 6 nautical miles. So 2 minutes I'm going to cross how much? 12 nautical miles. देखते हैं. Therefore, in 2 minutes, aircraft will travel 12 nautical miles. Students, यहाँ ही आपका presence of mind काम आने वाला है. This is where your presence of mind is gonna come in picture. Alpha Tango uniform. आवाज नहीं की काफी दिनों से. कैसे हो? सब चल रहा है बढ़िया कि नहीं?
हाँ सर चल रहा है।
मजा आ रहा है? पढ़ाई आ रही है समझ में?
हाँ सर।
चलो बढ़िया है. ऐसे तुम सोचा मत करो सर को प्रॉब्लम है मेरे डाउट पूछने से. ऐसा लग रहा है क्या तुम्हें?
नहीं सर।
काफी टाइम से कुछ पूछा नहीं है तुमने. दो ही रीजन हो सकते हैं. या तो तुम नहीं डिस्टर्ब करना चाहते या तुम सब अच्छे से समझ रहे हो.
नहीं सर अच्छे से ही चल रहा है।
वेरी गुड वेरी गुड. Aircraft will travel 12 nautical miles. If one 360-degree turn in 2 minutes, that is this in 2 minutes. It means the circumference. This is the circumference, right? A, B, A, B, A, like A, B, A, like this. So the circumference is equal to of this turn 12 nautical miles in this case. Are you getting a sense of it, students? It's just turning at the same speed. It's getting that distance traveled. So the semi-circumference would be, yeah, half would be 6. And this will also be 6. Just showing it to you. It's not of relevance here. Because of 1 minute. So I'll say this much was 1 minute. And then this much was the other minute, 2 minute, one complete turn. A is the starting point. Now I just need the formula for circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. If I get radius, I can find diameter. So I'll just give you circumference is equal to 2 pi r. Diameter is equal to 2r, right? And pi is equal to 3.14. So you have circumference. Let's find out the r and then let's find out the d. आपको diameter पूछा है, right? So एक और फॉर्मूला है circumference का और circumference is equal to pi d also because 2r is d only. So आपको diameter चाहिए इस question में, right? So आप ये formula use कर लो. So therefore I'll say circumference is equal to 3.14 into d. Circumference मुझे मिल गया है 12 nautical miles is equal to 3.14 into d. मुझे diameter चाहिए. So diameter is equal to 12 upon 3.14 into d. What's the answer? Diameter, students.
8.821.
सही नहीं आ रहा आंसर. Quick, students. ज्यादा टाइम ले रहे हो आप लोग. I thought 11:50 तक 1:50 तक हो जाएगा.
8.821.
हुसैन क्या मिस्टेक करते रहते हो यार सिली. कितना कितना फर्क आ रहा है तुम्हारे फर्स्ट आंसर में. क्या चल रहा है? अच्छे से करो ना. कैल्सी तो यूज करना है. 3.82 ना. तुम क्या 3.2 बोल रहे थे हुसैन?
So I said 3.821.
फिर करेक्ट है, फिर करेक्ट है. Therefore, D is equal to 3.82 nautical miles. If you want, you can round it off. In exams, generally it will be rounded off to 4 also, 4 nautical miles. Therefore, radius is equal to either इसका half कर लो, divide by 2, that is 1.902 nautical miles, और इसको round off कर लो, 2 nautical miles. मिल गया आंसर. That is correct. 3.82 is correct. I heard 3.2, तो मैं बोला यार ये कैल्शियम में कुछ गड़बड़ कर रहा है लगता है. By the way, pi also means 22/7. हाँ, दोनों आप यूज कर सकते हो, बट 3.14 जनरली सबको याद रहता है. ओके, चलो चलते हैं अभी. सी इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेश्चंस और डाउट्स, आस्क. जिसका खाना ठंडा हो गया ना उसको प्लीज गर्म करवा लो किसी से और खा लो आराम से. रिलैक्स, रेस्ट एंड देन गेट बैक टू स्टडीज. नेविगेशन स्टूडेंट्स, लेट मी नो आज का क्या प्रोग्रेस हो रहा है, एंड लेट मी नो कुछ एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए क्या चाहिए बताते रहो. एक्स्ट्रा टाइम अवेलेबल है, इवन आई एम अवेलेबल फुल 24/7 टिल योर एग्जाम्स आर ओवर. स्लो एंड स्टडी और काम बढ़ाऊंगा आपको, चीज़ें भी दी जाएंगी आपको. जब तक नहीं मिल रहा है तब तक देखो जो भी है वो पूरा हुआ नहीं हुआ. फ्री टाइम बच रहा है आप लोग के पास, देन यू टेल मी. फ्री टाइम बच रहा है विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस. ओके, यस हुसैन.
So dates are out, 22nd and 23rd November.
नवंबर और दिसंबर.
Oh, sorry, correction, December.
Let's see, let's verify the news and let's make a plan accordingly. Any more doubts, students? Do not panic about the exam dates. Just focus on your plan, your strengths, your positivity, your confidence levels. Okay, everyone? We have our lists. I need to see an updated list of your topics covered, your topics pending. Hussain, Mitika, Manan, do that. Others, you also make it. But आप लोग को थोड़ा time है, तो आप लोग relax कर सकते हो. The way I'm going to be preparing, देखते हैं. Let's see how it goes. It might be like I'll tell you all. I'll tell you all. If the dates are correct, then I might narrow down the group to only the students who are giving exams so that we could study a little faster, probably. But those sessions others can also attend, but in a different way. So I'll guide you all about it. Just relax, believe that it's going to be very good because you've already studied a lot. Make sure all that you have studied is thorough. Okay? Any more questions? कितने बार बोला है हुसैन एग्जाम डेट वेट क्लास में मत डिस्कस किया करो. तुम नहीं थे क्या हुसैन? ये तुम बाहर की बात ज्यादा चलती रहती है. एंड एनीवे गुड, बट इवेंचुअली पता ही चल जाता. कोई कुछ बोल रहा है या? टेल मी क्विकली.
Can I call you?
आई डोंट नो, ट्राई डायलिंग माय नंबर, पता चल जाएगा.
Okay, sir. I will call you after this.
I know unavailable
Okay.
to take a call right now, but text me now whatever it is.
Okay, sir. Sure.
चलो स्टूडेंट्स, आई विल सी यू लेटर एवरीवन. ज्योत्सना, आप अभी डेडिकेशन के साथ अपना मैथ पे रखो फोकस फिलहाल. स्किप एवरीथिंग एल्स आफ्टर दिस. आज वो कर लो जो आपको बताया एक बार क्विक शॉट में. तब तक आई विल कम विद एन एक्शन प्लान फॉर यू इंडिविजुअली फॉर दिस एग्जाम. एंड बाकी मनन, तुमने जो बताया है वो एक बार हाईलाइट कर देना. तुम्हें क्या एक्स्ट्रा चाहिए अपार्ट फ्रॉम अदर थिंग्स. परफॉर्मेंस यू सेट, उसके अलावा मितिका तुम्हारा भी कुछ स्पेशल नीड्स है वो बता देना मुझे एक बार, ठीक है? बाकी अदर स्टूडेंट्स यू डोंट वरी, तुम्हारा तो बहुत जल्दी सब कुछ हो जाएगा. सो यू ऑल रिलैक्स एंड स्टडी अकॉर्डिंगली. ओके एवरीवन, क्या बोल रहे हो मितिका?
सर इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में बाकी एडिटर इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स तो सारा हो चुका है मेरा, बस जायरो रिलेटेड इंस्ट्रूमेंट ही बचा है.
हाँ,
मैंने
अभी
रिवाइज भी कर लिया है.
तो आपका ऑलमोस्ट हो गया है. थोड़े बहुत पॉइंट्स बाकी हैं, वो हम कवर करेंगे ब्रीफ में.
हाँ सर.
इसके अलावा हमें रेडियो के कुछ न्यूमेरिकल्स करने हैं.
रेडार भी करना है सर, रेडियो का, और
रेडार
पेलोड
थ्योरी,
करना है, बस इतना करना है.
या एंड आई थिंक आपको सिंगल इंजन पीएनआर भी चाहिए.
हाँ.
तो या इसका एक मेक श्योर यू हैव दिस चेकलिस्ट. मनन, मेरे को तुम्हारा चेकलिस्ट भी चाहिए. आज भेजो मुझे तुम्हारा चेकलिस्ट.
सर
ठीक है।
और अगर एक फ्लाइट प्लान का पुराना आपका कोई वीडियो हो तो वो भेज दीजिए मेरे को, बस मेरे पास नोट्स है, मैं पढ़ लूंगी बस आज वो।
सी मेजरली फ्लाइट प्लान के आपको सिर्फ आइटम नंबर्स याद रखने हैं।
हाँ सर।
है फ्लाइट प्लान सेशंस वी हैव कंडक्टेड आई थिंक इन जी क्लास, बताता हूँ मैं आपको देख के। नहीं तो फिर सारे बस आइटम नंबर्स याद कर लो एंड आइटम नंबर्स के ब्लॉक्स याद कर लो। सो वो एक्चुअली आप एक फ्लाइट प्लान को देखोगे ना, तो वो फ्लाइट प्लान की पिक्चर देख के समझ जाओगे आप। तो मैं आपको पिक्चर भेज देता हूँ फ्लाइट प्लान के। वो पिक्चर के अकॉर्डिंग है ना, आइटम नंबर्स एंड नंबर ऑफ एलिमेंट्स एंड नंबर ऑफ बॉक्सेस कर लो फिलहाल। उसके अलावा फ्लाइट प्लान का दूसरा थियरी होगा द टाइप ऑफ फ्लाइट प्लान्स। रिपीटेटिव फ्लाइट प्लान एक होता है, दो तीन चीजें हैं बस। आई कवर दोस पॉइंट्स, आई गिव इट टू यू। और बताओ क्या चाहिए।
बस सर इतना ही है।
मनन क्या स्टेटस है तुम्हारा? मैंने वो लास्ट मैसेज अच्छे से नहीं पढ़ा है मनन, परफॉर्मेंस ही देखा मैंने। उसके अलावा क्या है बताओ अभी फटाफट एक बार।
परफॉर्मेंस और थोड़ा सा मास एंड बैलेंस का हो जाए।
नंदिनी तुम्हारा क्या क्या था? मास एंड बैलेंस था या पीएनआर था एक्स्ट्रा में?
So just mass and balance.
एक सेकेंड ना। मनन क्या बोले तुम, वापस बोलो।
परफॉर्मेंस एंड मास एंड बैलेंस न्यूमेरिकल्स।
मास एंड बैलेंस इजी है सर, ये इजी है, हो जाएगा। रेडार एंड मिथिका तुम्हारा ये था ना पीएनआर ना?
पीएनआर हो
सिंगल है।
चुका है सर, सिंगल इंजन बस 2-3 क्वेश्चंस नहीं सॉल्व हुए थे ऑक्सफोर्ड से, और थोड़ा
वो
रेडार जैसा
मैंने जो
इंस्ट्रूमेंट।
आपको हिंट बताया था वो हिंट से नहीं ट्राई किया? रिवर्स जो आप होम बाउंड स्पिन कैलकुलेट करते हो उसमें रिड्यूस टैक्स लेनी होती है, बट आपको बताएंगे वो, डोंट वरी। ओके एंड क्या बोले पीएनआर के बाद आप?
पीएनआर था, और सर वही मास एंड बैलेंस, और ये इंस्ट्रूमेंट का जायरो बेस्ड इंस्ट्रूमेंट बचे हैं, बाकी एयर डेटा तो हो चुका है मेरा सारा, और रेडार थोड़ा बचा है, रेडियो के न्यूमेरिकल्स थोड़े बस।
प्रोजेक्शंस का थियरी कैसा है मनन, हुसैन,
हो गया है सर।
मिथिका? ओके। प्रोजेक्शंस का एक स्केल रिलेटेड चेकलिस्ट है, वो चेकलिस्ट कर लेते हैं तो हो जाता है प्रोजेक्शंस। उसके अलावा आई विल चेक क्रॉस लिस्ट, मैं भी करूंगा चेकलिस्ट को क्रॉस आउट। हुसैन का क्या सीन है पता नहीं, मुझे बता देना।
Sir, I want just quick refresher on numericals.
हुसैन तुम्हें तो बहुत कुछ करना है, तो देखो कैसे क्या होता है, प्लान बनाओ। पहले मुझे प्लान बताना अपना, बिकॉज यू वर बिजी, सो आई नो तुमने ज्यादा कुछ किया नहीं है। इन फ्लाइट नेविगेशन अच्छे से करना है गाइस, एंड ठीक है, ठीक है, ऑलराइट। Others who are not having exams right now, you can be a little laid back, but not completely. Make sure आप भी चलते रहो, because ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं है दिसंबर एंड जान एग्जाम्स में। समझ लो कुछ 20-25-30 दिन का फर्क होगा। एंड गुड दैट हमारा टाइम एस्टिमेट वाज एक्यूरेट, हमने 20 लिया तो, और 20 के आसपास ही एग्जाम्स हैं। सो गुड फॉर अस, वी आर प्रिपेयर्ड, सो डोंट पैनिक। मनन और मितिका और हुसैन, नॉट पैनिक, ओके?
Sir,
एंड
was I
अश्विनी ऑफ
audible?
कोर्स। या यू वर ऑडिबल।
Yes.
चलो, मैंने क्या बोला था, आप अपना स्टडी प्लान पहले बना लो एक बार, चेकलिस्ट, एंड वो मेरे साथ शेयर करो हुसैन नया, ठीक है?
सर मैं भी करूँ?
अश्विनी अब देखो तुम क्या बोलते हो, मुझे नहीं पता, तुम बताना मुझे क्या प्लान है और क्या है नहीं, क्या नहीं। सेम अप्लाइज टू हुसैन ऑल्सो। चेकलिस्ट क्या है तुम्हारा? ठीक है, अब तुम्हारा 2 हफ्ते से टच में नहीं है, सो मुझे आइडिया नहीं इफ यू आर इन टच बेस और नॉट, सो लेट मी नो दैट, ओके? चैट पे बताओ मुझे आराम से। मानवीर जो भी है एक शॉर्ट में मुझे मैसेज छोड़ दो बस, बाकी आई विल सी व्हेन वी गेट अ टाइम, विल टॉक।
Sure, sir.
अर्जेंट रहेगा तो आई ट्राई टू स्क्वीज टाइम इन, ओके?
Sure, sir. Thank you.
चलो स्टूडेंट्स, प्लीज मैनिफेस्ट इट, एंड अपनी ट्रैवल डेट्स भी मुझे दे देना प्लीज आज ही। कब तुम जा रहे हो, कितने दिन जा रहे हो, सो आई नो कि वो फाइनल डेज विल नॉट बी अवेलेबल, सो कुछ छोटा मोटा है तो मैं रखूंगा नहीं उस टाइम के लिए। ऑलराइट, सो मितिका, मनन, डू लेट मी नो आप कौन सी डेट्स अवेलेबल नहीं हो। ऑलराइट, एंड तुम्हारी एग्जैक्ट डेट भी बता दो एग्जाम की मुझे, कौन सी है। चलो, टेक केयर स्टूडेंट्स, आई विल सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन। जिसकी एग्जाम से वो और कुछ मत पढ़ो, ना पढ़ो, और जो सा तुम मत करो, ठीक है, चलो,
Thank
टेक
you,
केयर
sir.
एवरीवन, सी यू.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
You, sir.
Thank you, sir.